Welcome to Archangel, Revelations and Prophecies 444. I'm Gat, your host. A viewer has requested a twin flames natal charts analysis, and that's what we're going to do. We're just starting. The first thing I noticed was his chart. Her chart, she has a lot of activity in those early houses as well as the 12th house. He's a little bit more spread out, but I noticed that in his the house where Scorpio is, I think that's his 10th house. That's how you see the connection. You see Scorpio and you see the moon. These two may have worked together or met at work, because that's his career house, career and reputation. But you definitely see the connection, and you also see Mars. That's how you know you're usually dealing with twin flames or soulmates, twin souls or soulmates. Is a lot of the placements look alike, and they were both born at 4 a.m. around the 4 a.m. area. I got the correct times, but they were both born around the 4 a.m. areas. So what we're going to be doing in this video, just looking at everything, taking everything nice and slow. And I see the 21 on her side, because the female will be on the left, the male on the right. So her first house, of course, is ruled by Aries. And she has Mars, Scorpio. But Mars used to rule Scorpio, but now Mars rules Aries. So and she has a lot of 9s in her chart. The number 9 can have a lot to do with endings, but then beginnings. You see how she has that 9 and then the 1, so that can do with endings and beginnings. Aries is just very, very forward moving, but very focused. And it could be aggressive. But she's got Mars there. So this is a lot. And then she got Venus. So this is a person that's just, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be very intense. Very intense. If she's arguing, it's gonna be intense if she's heated. But also very passionate, very loving, very intense. Having a love for life. Sexually very passionate. So it's always good to take notes. And I'll make this, because I just did a video where I kind of explained a couple of things that was on Real Life and Metaphysics. It said urgent message. But I'm just going to say just a couple of things. Each person is different. But when it comes to your natal chart, to really get the most out of your natal chart, because the way I do it, like I'm not trying to do this for marketing. I'm not trying to do this to just rip people off with their money, because of the simple fact, you could do it like marketing, like keep having the person to come back, and they're always welcome to come back if they want to. But I try to give them a natal chart that they can still be using 4 years from now, because basically your life is on your natal chart. So I try to give you, the whole thing, not like a marketing person or a drug dealer, because he's just gonna give you enough to keep you coming back and coming back. And it's good business, but I don't know. That's how I do things. And a lot of times, it just depends on the chart reading. You might need natal chart. You might need like angel cards. So we'll see how it goes. Uh, you do meet some people sometimes that think. See, my goal is not to tell you how to run your life, because God gave everybody a brain and emotions, and see that's part of your journey. Believe it or not, we're under a system that don't care nothing about. That's why they don't talk about astrology. I'm talking about the people that run. Let's just say we're in the West. We're on the western side of the world. They don't never. They don't talk about astrology. They make it seem like if you use astrology as evil. They don't never talk about. They'll talk about sun signs. If you notice, the Western astrologers do not talk about the moon, your moon sign. You have to go to India. You got to go to the Hindu websites to talk about your moon sign. So they really don't care. So if you go by them, you're not really going to fulfill your purpose, really, because you're probably going to get caught up in this junk they're preaching. You know, just be sexy, have fun, don't take life too serious. I mean, what difference does it make? And well, if that didn't work out, just go get with somebody else. So none of this stuff would have been told to you by your forefathers or the ancient ones. So you're actually on a self-destructive course. So that's another reason why I do what I do. See, I'm not part. I don't think Western society, because that's what a drug dealer don't care. You know, all he worried about is you keep coming back, keep coming back. He's a marketer, and if you get addicted or whatever, and you OD or die or whatever, that's all he worried about as well. That's some money I won't be getting. That person ain't no longer with us, but he's gonna keep the same formula because he see too much cash coming because of it. And that's how this system is. They just gonna keep using you and use you, and they want you to go to the grave, not fulfilling your life purposes, because that's gonna affect your afterlife, and that's why you have all the karma and things that you see. So that's why I give you the whole chart, and I try to give the whole story. But you'll meet people that just, oh, I just want to know this. I just want this answer. Is this the one right for me? What about this job? And that's really what they want, because they could care less, because they're being trained by the powers that be to think like that. So I always say slow it down, find out what the purpose is, why are you here, find out your retrogrades, your past life situations, and you can make a better decision. And also, later on in life, it may help you because you may change your mind. Later on in life, you might all of a sudden get serious about your natal chart and your life purpose. Why am I here? And what's my connection to the stars and the universe and the planets? And now you care, whereas 3 years ago you didn't. But you'll still have the natal chart if you put it away. And maybe I'll say something in this reading or analysis that they'll remember years from now. So how I see it, everybody has a job. I'm just a humble servant of the universe. So it's not my job to tell somebody to take shortcuts or take the easy route or what to do in your life. That's not my job. You got to use this information and come to your own conclusions. Now, here's Ascended. You see 323. I think that's LA. Give me one moment. Yep, Los Angeles. Florence and Los Angeles, excluding downtown Los Angeles. 323. Plus, Scorpio is a water sign, so it's going to be a lot of emotions there. And then you have the moon as well. So it's definitely a lot intense. Scorpio is very intense. And that's why, like I said, it's good to take notes. Because you can just tell this person on the left is going to be very intense. Just the way everything's lined up. And even when it is twin soul, twin flames, the reason why it's good to have your natal charts and both of them, because it helps you see your place. Like the universe is showing you your strong points, their strong, and how you complement each other. It shows you. And that's why I said a lot of this. I just recently had somebody that really tried to control everything. And you can't. You gotta learn to be patient, be humble, take notes, and find out what your purpose is, and try to work towards it. And like I said, even with this natal chart, it all depends on what the spirit tells me to do. Because she told me, let the angels decide the 5 questions, and I might do that. But then again, I might let her listen to this, and then she can decide the 5 questions after she listens. It just depends on what the angels say to do, what spirit says to do. All right, so again, the theme of your first house is Scorpio with Aries. So this is going to be intense, passionate, forward moving, possibly aggressive because you got Mars there. And Mars used to rule Scorpio. Now Mars rules Aries. But it's still your first house is Aries. So this is intensity. And whatever's going on in your first house, because of Scorpio's energy, it's going to affect your 8th house. Because Scorpio rules your 8th house. So just remember that whole thing I said about aggression or forward moving. And oh yeah, there's an obsession. Because we are going to talk about your 8th house because Scorpio's there. So when we get to your 8th house, we're not going to repeat it. We're not going to repeat the info. Because I'm already telling you now. Because that's why my videos be so long. So once I tell the information, I can't keep repeating it. Because they're already long videos usually. So when a person has the right attitude, slow down. I know things going on seem important. Is this the one for me? Should I stay with my husband? You get it, and they want like the answer, like they just want a ready answer, and they don't realize you should be asking why are you in a situation where you think you need to leave your husband. And a lot of time I keep saying it's impatience because they never learned how to just sit and be patient and learn. They never ask questions like their purpose in life. That's why they're not asking what their purpose is. They're just trying to get me. Look, like that's not none of my business because I don't know your husband. And the last reading I did, this female really she just victimized herself. Everything was victimized, and I know we all go through stuff. But I've done a lot of readings, and I've only seen 2 where the archangels actually said the guy was really bad, like leave him, or not, or like he's really not the type of guy he could be in a relationship right now. But all the other times, the guy wasn't really that bad, according to the archangel. Because we forget we all got things to work on. So a female might be looking at you, oh, he get a blah, blah, blah. But she should be looking at herself, too. You got stuff to work on, too. So the archangels don't play that. Like, they're not going to, just because you feel a certain way, that don't mean the archangel's going to agree with you. Because they're going to say, because it was deep. If you want to see a real good reading, but I started off, I said urgent message and I think I said something about a card reading, and I said a spirit showed up in the physical, which it did. That's a real good reading. And that's from real life and metaphysics. So that's why I said the more you slow down, take notes, and then now once you take notes and start to get an understanding of what they're saying to you, you can start to make better better choices, because you know, it can't be based on impatience, it can't be based on selfishness. It's got to be based on what your universal purpose is. And that's why I say, in twin flames, a person might say, I don't want that person to be my twin flame, but you probably never given that person a chance. Did you ever go out on a date with them? Did you ever talk to them? And you do got to be careful, because there are crazy people, but everybody's not crazy. Did you ever go out on a date with them? You can meet, if you feel a certain way, you can meet in a public place. The person doesn't have to know where you came from until you feel comfortable. That's totally understood. But what people are doing is, like, the universe will try show them in their dreams. This is the person for you. The universe will try to get those two together, but they're going by something. But you've never ever talked to the person. You've never had a real heart-to-heart conversation. So how would you know that the universe is wrong? But that's because they're impatient. They want their way. And I'm saying this basically because just in the last, people come to me in batches. I'll get a lot of Pisces one batch, a lot of Aquarius the next batch, and on and on. So that's been a theme, is don't be impatient. If you're talking about natal charts and twin souls and stuff like that, don't be impatient. And usually in life in general, it's not smart to be impatient. So I'm just saying that by way of just saying, I would have said that no matter what. I mean, your natal chart could be totally different. I still would have started this because I'm dealing with a lot of people that are coming with impatience. So it has nothing to do with the person that requested this information. But looking at it, but the B100, looking at it, it may be brought out. So I'm just letting you know in advance, it may be brought out, because I use references. Like, I give my information, but I always use references so that people know that it's not just me. And you'll have some people that try to argue with you over that. Yeah, how are you gonna argue with me when it's your natal chart and that's what the expert said? So when I see that kind of immaturity, you know, I can't even relate with those type of people, because those type of people, you say you want to know what your purpose is, but as soon as you get your information, you want to argue about it. Like, no, it's not a debate. And what made you think this was a debate? It's not a debate. So that's why I said I do the natal chart what I believe the correct way. You get the whole chart, the whole story. It's up to you to slow it down, take notes, and maturely go through your life with your information that the universe gave you. But it's not up to me to make somebody mature or help them be patient and all that. These are things they have to want to do on their own. So that's really how this works for the better for everybody involved. So and also when you have Venus and Mars, that's the divine masculine to divine feminine. So that's where we're going to start. And just so you know, AC is your ascendant. That's just where the sun was rising over the horizon. It's your ascendant, your rising sign at birth, which is Scorpio. And it's also your moon sign, so that's going to be interesting. Now, if you notice, his east point is not the same as his ascendant. Now, somebody will tell you that your ascendant is your first house, but not always. Because I already counted it. I did it officially on the site, on the website. His first house is his east point, Aquarius. But his rising sign is Capricorn. So it's two different things. Because somebody will say, oh, your ascendant is your rising sign. Not always. And there's a reason why they do that. It has to do with different times of your life. But it's important that you know that. So if somebody said, what's his first house? You would say, it's Aquarius. And they would say, no, it's not. It's Capricorn, because that's where his ascendant is. But your ascendant is not your first house. Always. Your ascendant is your rising sign. Your ascendant is not always your first house. It's very important you know that. The first house, even verified by the system itself, is Aquarius. So even if I was to look that up, I would say first house Aquarius. And if it kept saying rising sign, I wouldn't accept it, because his rising sign is not Aquarius. Alrighty. Give me one moment. I'm going to try to log into something really quick. If I'm able to. If not, I'm going to have to pause. All right. Do this. Oh, this computer's moving real slow. Give me a moment. The Virginia governor told neo-Nazis, "You are not patriots." All right, give me this. This thing is just moving real slow, so I'm apologizing to y'all in advance. My whatever you want to call these people, they provide your internet and your telephone. They were out there working. It was already getting bad, and then they were out there working, and ever since they've been out there working, it actually got worse. All right. All right. Give me one moment. I'll be back. Okay, so like I said, dealing with impatience, it was a. I'm trying to give you a short version because I already talked about this in the other video, but it was a person that just had a very serious problem with impatience, and they didn't. At the end of the day, it seemed like they wanted me to tell them. First, they asked me to clear their karma, and I'm being honest, and I'm like, how can I clear your karma? So I gave them a very thorough, because they had been in pain from like the moment they contacted me, just very impatient and actually just trying to use words that you shouldn't be using, like hurry up or you know as soon as possible, just crazy. But I just ignored all that. And then when they got the chart, it was like it was like a 4 hour video, and then they contacted me like within 30 to minutes to an hour. I'm like, this person hasn't even listened to the video, and they're already trying to complain. So that's when I had to give them a reality check, because I had put up with their craziness up until that point. But then after that point, you have what you paid for. It's up to you to slow down, stop with the impatience, go over the information, all your answers there. So then they left for a while. Then the next day they came back, and they basically they were asking me, is my karma cleared? Your karma is only going to be cleared by you listening to the video, finding out what your retrogrades are telling you, and making choices as to how to clear your karma. And as far as the person you're with, I can't tell you. Based on the information, you have to make your own decision. And that's all I can do. That's just being honest. That's all I can do. But that's an extreme case. But I've had cases that are like that. Like, not that extreme. That's a very extreme case of what I'm saying. But no, this is not a game. This is really your life. Like, you gotta see this. This is the universe. You know, all intents and purposes, it is God speaking to you about your life. So it is something you will want to just be patient and stop, because we get impatient and we want it now, and unfortunately, real life isn't really like that, especially this kind of stuff. You got to really be patient and trust, work with your angels and trust with your angels. Now I just got to log into this website, and then we will be getting ready to take off. But as you can see, because of her arrangements on the left side, it's going to take a while. That's another reason why I'm not rushing into it, because it's going to be a lot of things that are going to be brought out as far as purpose in life and things of that nature. Come on, give me a second. All right. Awesome, Mandela. So Barack Obama is back in politics. He's tweeting about world events, such as this tragedy in Charlottesville. And Trump is not going to like that. It's getting interesting. Alright, I'm just trying to upload this video. It just finished as a video, but I've been trying to upload it on YouTube as soon as it finished. And it just took forever to get here because everything was running slow, but I think now it's going to start running faster. Alright, what is this? Proof, movement, coming in the cloud. That's good. Now, so the first thing we're going to kind of give a look at, I'm going to see if it has it. Well, let's just send it. We're going to look at Mars, Venus first. Mars conjunct Venus. All right. Also, your ascendant is how people see you in the world. It's called your mask, the mask that you wear. All right. Alright, is this the same? Okay, this is the same, so get rid of this. Alright, now, okay, here we go. Venus. Come on, people. Alright. This is called OOCITIES.org. OCities.org. Venus conjunct Mars. You're passionate about all you do, especially sex. With an intense love for life, your strong sex appeal and magnetism makes for an attractive sex life that you don't always take seriously. If you're evolved, you have the strength, courage, and energy needed to tame the animal side of your nature. Whether love or lust is stronger depends on whether Venus love or Mars is stronger. Venus love or Mars lust. You have such vitality and warmth in your emotional nature. You remain charming even if you're excessively aggressive. You're creative, but how it expressed depends on the rest of the chart. You're generous, outgoing, and good at relating to the public, but you need occasional solitude. You're impulsive in spending your and others' money, but always repay your debts in a timely fashion. You demand much from your loved ones, then get angry if they don't meet your expectations. You hate being tied down and need some independence. Alright. Now this is Astro Matrix, Venus conjunct Mars. Your relationship with your parents will determine your attitudes towards opposite sex and marriage, for better or for worse. Normally this gives a harmonious blending of active and passive energies and makes you sensitive and loving unless both planets are under stress. Drive is generally expressed constructively. This aspect is an asset when it comes to relating to the public and is said to give luck in financial matters. The conjunction can vary dramatically from sign to sign and tends to give you valuable insights into your earliest dealing with the opposite sex, including dealings with your opposite sex parent, siblings, and peers. You have very strong emotions. Because of their intensity, you find it hard to treat relationships lightly. Everything, even the smallest gesture, has importance to you. This is true in almost all relationships. It's especially true when it comes to sex and romance. If there are problems in your life, it could be because you're becoming too pushy or coming on too strong. Because it is obsession, goes with Scorpio, so does power struggles, and then if you got Aries, it could be really aggressive or very stalking, very obsessive. This aspect stimulates affections in a way that causes you to want an all-consuming, forever type relationship. But funny enough, it also gets flirtatious streaks that continues even after you've entered into a satisfying relationship. So that's deep. That's deep. And that's what we're trying to tell people. See, this is what I mean by slowing down and trying to understand. Because it's easy to say, well, that's just the way I am. Oh, he's overreacting. But it might not be. That's why when we slow down and we start to learn how to communicate, it's different because then you can talk through situations. But when you haven't learned how to communicate, and I say this to everybody, so don't think I'm just talking about this chart. But when you don't learn to communicate and you jump right into sex and it's all this great stuff, because see, I have a friend that was like that when we were young, and she married some police officer, started having problems with him, and he actually killed her. That was a big story, right? This is like right up the street from my house. But the bottom line is, it was all with her. It was always like unbelievable sex. That's just how she was, and you can't do that because that's like it's like you don't understand sex and sex marriage, sex magic, and then You're dealing with Scorpio energy, so now it becomes an obsessive. You understand? And now it's like I'll tell you this. A lady was talking about, and I've seen this before too. I seen it before in a movie. A lady, like they was having like real deep sex, and this like the lady smacked the shit out that dude, and then I heard this is on YouTube. This is this woman, and she is in church, and this woman was saying, yeah, this lady, she said you can't mess around with sex. She said because sex is powerful. She said because this lady was having sex with this man or whatever, and then she said and then she just smacked the you know what out of him. And so everybody was saying, well, why did she smack him? They was trying to figure it out. And she just kept talking about it. And then she finally said, because it felt so good. And then all of a sudden, something said to her, he better not share this with nobody else. Like, nobody else better enjoy it this good. So she smacked the shit out. But it's a lot of crazy because it's like animalistic. It's a lot of crazy reason why she might have smacked him. But you got to be careful because you can't. I mean, if that person understands it, it's okay. Each person is different. I'll be honest. Some men, it might not be a big deal. I know she with me. I don't care if she flirt. She with me. That's cool. But some people might not be able to deal with that. So that's what they're saying. 1 minute you're like giving this guy great sex and it's like forever. And the next minute you're kind of like flirting somewhere else. So that could send out double messages that could cause problems. And like I said, what happened, I already know what happened. I wasn't there, but I knew her. But no, she was like a super freak. Like for real. A man eater. Like she was a super freak. So I know when she got with him, she broke him off and everything. And he already was like, you know, he thought he was gonna be getting this all the time. And then they started having, and they had kids and everything. They was married, they got married. And then she wanted to go her own way after a while or whatever. And he ain't want it. And then how people start talking stuff. Oh, I'm gonna take the kids, or I'm gonna take all your money. She is talking reckless. And then this dude, he went crazy. So he's a cop, so he knows how to stalk you. He knew where she would be. He kept riding up and down the street till she came because he knew her schedule. And then she tried to get away from her. He chased her. And then he did what a cop did. He boxed her in with his car. And then he got out with the gun. And his initial plan was to kill her and then kill himself. And then they surrounded him. But they all knew him. He was like a lead. He was an officer. So they didn't want to shoot him because they had respect for him. It's like, Sarge, you trained us. They kept saying, Sarge, calm down. You know, we'll handle it. You trained us. And they was like trying to tell him we care about you. He said, you don't care about me. He was like, where were you? Where were you when I needed you? And he just bugged out. And then he just shot into the car. And they still didn't shoot him after he shot her. After he shot her down in the car. They still didn't shoot him. He's alive now. She's dead. But he's alive now. They're probably just going to put him on death row or something. And his own daughters, his own children are saying, don't ever let him out of jail. But what I'm trying to tell you is I know sex. Like I said, I used to be out there. I know sex. And it could do that because it's crazy. Like, you get sex like this kind of sex they talking about, a person going to feel that way. Like, this is my ass, better not do that. You just got to be careful. Because everybody's different. Some people can have that kind of sex and you don't have obsession. But when you're dealing with Scorpio in the 8th house, and Scorpio rules the 8th house, and you're dealing with Mars and Venus and stuff, that's like a cooking part. That's like a, what do you call that, cooking pot? A cooking pot for possible problem. Plus the 8th house in Scorpio and Pluto is all about obsession and all kind of dark stuff. So you got to be real careful with that. They say, I think that people with this aspect feel that it's especially important to remain desirable, not just to a mate or lover, but to the opposite sex in general. As the conjunction is a uniting aspect, and Venus and Mars are the male and female principles. Respectively, you might think, as I once did, that it's important of a lasting marriage. Yeah, so even in your first house, you see twins, the divine the masculine and the feminine principles. From my studies, I've learned that this isn't the case. While people with this aspect want a lasting relationship very badly, they suffer their fair share of squabbles and separations. But that's why you have your natal chart. Because when you start being honest with yourself, oh, this is an 8th house, you know, I could be obsessive. At least you know what to work on. I mean, even if you did, I'm not saying anybody does, but even if you did get like extra help, like psychological help or whatever, family counseling, at least you know why. You know why? Because I'm serious. Because it's just a lot of power. And what happens is, like I said, but if the guy understands it, it may not be a problem. Because I know I used to work with a woman and she is like that. She is a Christian woman. She is highly flirtatious, highly to the point. Like, cause I was like, well, I wouldn't have did nothing anyway. Not with her, cause I'm a Christian too. But I wasn't like I was still hanging out and stuff. But she was real flirtatious. And I remember one time she was like, where we worked at, it was you had to walk down a hill, like a driveway, but it was a hill. And her husband was in a car. And I don't know what it was. I think she was selling, like, she was doing like Avon cookies or something. And I think I was asking her about Avon or something. I don't even know what I was doing walking down there with, because her husband's right there. And I'm real smart. Like, I'd never be around somebody when I see their husband, because people flip out. I was in a church one time, and I just went there for like the Bible study. And the wife looked exactly like somebody I went to school with. So I was like, do you know so-and-so? She said no. But everybody asked me that same question. And so then I was just standing there, and we were standing up singing a song before the Bible study started. And I guess she was looking at me or whatever. And then I guess her husband caught it. And then this is the Reverend. He gave me a look like he'd kill me. And I just got there. I was like, whoa. Then later on, he was talking about he's going to get guns in the church because their church is right off the avenue in the hood. And he said, we got a lot of gangsters around here, so we're going to get some guns. I'm going to get my deacons to have guns because if some of these gangsters come up in here. This dude was crazy. But I'm telling you this for a reason. Because I didn't want his wife. You know what I'm saying? I just said, you look like somebody I went to school with. That's the only conversation me and her had. I ain't look at her no more after that. But somehow he must have sensed something, and it must have been through her, because I was singing. And I guess he must have looked at her and kind of knows where her eyes was at or whatever was going on with that. But that man, he gave me a look like he'd kill me. And I hadn't been in that church for like 20 minutes. So that's how powerful this stuff is. So anyway, I'm walking down with this other one. And her husband's right there. He's in the car. And I don't know what the heck happened. But she told me to hold her hand or something. Like hold her hand walking down. I was like, I hope this bee don't get me killed out here. So that desire to be wanted, or that desire to know you still got it, like you gotta be careful. Because you gotta make, you know what I'm saying? Like some people just like drama, you know, but you got all that energy. Like, I'm not saying you're that type of person, but I can see on your chart you got all that energy. But you gotta be careful, because sometimes it's called burning bridges, and you think it's not that big of a deal. Why is he overreacting, or why is he so insecure? But you gotta ask yourself, what if it was you? Now some women can deal with that. They can deal with their man being around like women and stuff. Some women can deal, but some women can't. Some women they don't even want you even talking to another female, like, unless you had, like, it better be business or it better be something. But don't just be over there. Don't just be over there shooting the breeze with another female, nigga, because you with me. But each person is different. So you gotta ask yourself, would you like it if it was being done to you? And really, I keep telling people, try communication before you try great sex and powerful sex and taking this person to sexual levels they ain't never been to before in their life and probably never going to be to again. Because that's how you get niggas like that police officer. That sex was too good. He wasn't going to let that go. He don't want to let it go. He got to let it go because she's complaining and everybody's starting to know that he's a little abusive. So he got to let her go, but he don't want to. And then now she's talking about taking the kids. I'm going to take all your money. Like, it bugged you out, because one minute she made him feel like, I'm God. Like, I'm God. I mean, the way she had, because I know her, because I used to go to school with her. She used to be over my house. And my best friend and her was always together. But she was like a man eater, and she was real good at what she did. So she made him feel a certain way and then took it all away from him. And that nigga, you can go crazy. Sex is not, I be trying to tell y'all, sex is nothing to play with. So it said people that have Venus and Mars conjunct, they want a lasting relationship very barely. They suffer their fair share of squabbles and separations. But usually when you're having squabbles and separations, because you haven't learned how to communicate. That's why I keep talking about maturity. There's a difference between this aspect and the square and opposition, though. in that there seemed to be greater reluctance to make the first break. Jealousy, sometimes justified, sometimes not, on one side or another, seems to be the primary cause of discord. But why? Because you gave this person great ass sex. It's like drugs. Like if I'm a crack addict, you ain't taking my crack, nigga, I'll kill your ass. And that's how that pastor looked at me. So, and she did look good. Because the female she looked like was one of the baddest females I ever seen in my life. Like I'm talking about when you 13, 12 and 13, and she's like 1 year older than me. When you 12 and 13 and you see a female, and this is way back in the day before females had the kind of bodies they got now. I saw that chick, I almost bugged out. I had never seen a female built like her. I was bugged out. And tell you how real it is, I seen her like about 30 years after high school. And I had never talked to her because she's a year older than me. I was a little nerdy dude. So I seen her. She used to be a bartender. And I seen her. I said, when we went to school together, I couldn't take my eyes off. And I'm talking about the bartender. But this bartender I'm talking about looked like this pastor's wife. Looked just like her. And I told the bartender, when I seen you, I said, when we used to go to school together, I could never take my eyes off you. So I told her that. And so me and her was always cool. Even though she didn't know me from school. You know how you walk past a nerd, you know, you can walk. So we seen each other every day, but she never talked to me in school. I'm younger than her and I'm a little nerd and shit. But at the bar, me and her was always cool and shit. Like we was always cool just by me telling her that. So I believe in like different things. I believe in soul connections as far as knowing people. Not necessarily a love connection, but a soulmate. So somehow what I'm trying to tell y'all, which I know people can't get, her and that female was on some type of same frequency because they look just alike. That's why I said, do you know so-and-so? But she said, no, but everybody asked me that same question. And that's all I said to her. Then I went on further down. I ain't said nowhere near her because I already know how this go. I went way on the other end. I sat there to stand, and I guess she was still looking at me, and he caught it. But the reason why he caught it, he may have had some issues with her in the past, but somehow he caught that shit, and he gave me a look like, nigga, I'll kill you in this church. I'm a reverend, but I'm gonna have my deacon. I'm gonna have my deacon blow your fucking brains out. Like what the fuck? So what I'm trying to, the reason why I'm saying all this is they talking about jealousy. Now this ain't me. This is what the experts are saying. And she said jealousy sometimes justified because you can't break nobody off with that type of that great ass sex, that shit. And then all of a sudden you think you're just gonna go back. They're gonna be addicted. That's why I said sometimes it's communication. You got to find a way to deal with that. And then everybody's not the same. Some people can have great ass sex like that and not become addicted. But you're dealing with Scorpio energy, Mars, Aries. It's in the writing. So they say jealousy sometimes justified, sometimes not. On one side or another seems to be the primary cause of the discord. So she's saying jealousy. Why? Because that sex is too great to be sharing it with nobody. That same job I'm talking about. It was this chick, I'm not going to tell you, she wasn't black, she wasn't white, she wasn't Asian, but I'm not going to tell you what race she was, but I thought she was mean, and back then I took that shit personal. Like if a chick walked past me, I used to take that shit, I don't give a care, I could care less, but back then I took that, and this is 2000, and I took that personal, so she would never talk. So then one time her car broke down, and so I'm still a nice guy. Like back then I was still a nice guy. Now I would have been like, that ain't my problem. She don't even talk to me. I will give my ride and keep it moving. She'd have to beg me to help her and shit. Because every time I used to help somebody, then my car would start having problems. So I was like, I got to stop helping people because my problem. Then I start having problems. So one day, her car broke down. So I was out there. And I was nice back then. I was still trying to have a conversation with her. And she was still like really acting up. But then after that, because we worked in the same office, after that she started talking to me more. And then she basically told me her boyfriend was like real jealous, like unbelievably jealous and shit. But you can't live your life like that either. That's why I said communication. Because you work with people, you got to be able to be friendly and at least nice. So you can't be so scared to talk and all that. Because see, dudes like that, like especially back then, I ain't like them. Like I respected the female's husband that I was walking down the hill with because he didn't do nothing. You know, that was on her because she shouldn't ask me to hold her hand because that's only going to... You know, he took it though. He didn't even look at me evil because I think he knew how she was. But the other one's husband, I wouldn't have liked him. Like if I seen him, I would want to fight him because she was terrified. She wouldn't talk to nobody. Now, you know you real terrified because most women, They might act a certain way in front of you, but as soon as you're in the picture, they're going to act a certainly different way. But she was terrified. Like, she was scared. Like, to the point, terrified. So I didn't like him because that's like being a bully. So they say if you have Venus and Mars in the same sign, well, but that's not the case. They say you would be less pushy. Venus and Mars, if they was in the same sign but not conjunct, you would be less pushy. So they're saying that's going to make you pushy as well. So we did that. No Venus and Mars. A lot of passion. It could also be a little passive aggressive. But somebody's kind of pushy, they're going to get theirs. And again, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but you got to make sure your partner, that's why I said communicate. Because sometimes if you just talk, it's different. You'd be surprised, but most people say he ain't going to understand, and they don't give a person a chance. But you'd be better off talking, because if you don't talk, he's going to come to the wrong conclusions. And what y'all females don't understand, men have emotions like y'all do. They want to be hugged. They may not tell you that, but they still want to be hugged, or they want some type of recognition. Because some dudes act like they don't want to hug or all that shit, but they want some type of recognition, and they do feel bad. But they might not say it because their pride, they like, I'm a man, so they can't say it. So like the female that had to do with Nas and Jay-Z getting into a rap battle, and she said the rap battle was really over her. And she said, but they had to change it. They had to make it seem like it was over something else. Because everybody was saying, why was they beefing anyway? And she said they was really beefing over me, but they had to change it because don't nobody want to know no man was jealous and shit. So they said they had to make it look hard. So they had to make it look like they was beefing over something else, but they was beefing over me. So what I'm trying to tell you is dudes had the same thing. So sometimes there's a way you could talk to a dude to make him feel more secure, as opposed to like doing shit. Because I really think, because I knew her growing up, and I just think that's what she did. I know she took that man to so many levels sexually he probably never had been through in his life and never going to be. Not even in prison with another man. Nobody's going to take that man to the levels that she did. And then all of a sudden it was just all falling. And that's why he was kind of abused. Well, already a lot of cops are abusive. Basically. Not all of them, but a lot of cops do go home pushing their wives around and shit like that. Like we see that shit in the news all the time. So then he was already a little bully. He was a bully anyway. And then the sex probably made him even more aggressive because he's trying to intimidate her so that she'll be scared so he can keep her where he wants her because he wants her. He's addicted. That's what an addict would do. So she don't want to be controlled. She don't want to be bullied. And she probably realized it was a big mistake giving him that kind of sex. And now she's trying to back up. They're not getting along. She's trying to get away from the relationship. She's complaining about it and all that. Then when she finally got away, she probably was talking reckless. And that was the worst thing she could have did. Whenever somebody talking crazy, like I'll choke your ass out or I'll shoot you, that's when you know the nigga crazy. So don't push that person. Like if you're dealing with I'm telling all you females, because y'all like to just keep talking shit. Like unless you got a gun, unless you got no kung fu, or unless you got somebody that's going, like your bodyguard or somebody you can pick up the phone, don't keep talking crazy, because this nigga, you can tell he crazy. You could tell he getting crazy, talking about killing you, choking you out, throwing you out the window. So he's already letting you know, I'm not playing. But then you keep talking anyway? I wouldn't. That's one thing. You can see two men get up in each other's face or whatever, but they smart enough to just shut up. Like a man know when he about to cross that line. And if he ain't ready to really cross it, they might argue. They might get up in each other's face. But if they ain't really ready to duke it out, that shit will get resolved. And after a while, you'll see them two talking again like it ain't never happened. Usually. But with a female, y'all just keep talking. Like I said, even if the dude try to go out the door, you jump in front of the door. This is all that crazy shit. Blocking the door. And that's why I said, it come a time when just be silent. It's not that serious. It's always another day. But if you keep talking, you might lose your life in a heartbeat. Because, you know, whatever she did to him, it really drove that man crazy. He's a cop. He knows if he's pointing the gun, so he already knows he should be dead. But he's pointing the gun anyway. He won't put the gun down. Sarge, put the gun down. Sarge, you know the rules. We got it, Sarge. He's doing it anyway. And then he knows that if he opens fire on her, they're going to kill him. But he opens fire anyway. Probably because he wanted to die. He couldn't kill himself. So he thought, I'll kill him and he'll kill me. And then they just respected him too much. So I try to get people to think when I'm teaching, because it's that serious. And it's just that people think it can't happen to me. But I'm sure she thought it couldn't happen to her. And you got to understand, this is a female that was sexually active since she was like 12 or 11 or earlier. And she was damn good at what she did. I was there. I saw her carnage. She was like guys in every town type of chick. She'd walk up to you and start rapping to you. You didn't have to come up to her. And if you said, you know, I would like to get your number, but I don't have a pen. I do. She'd pull out the pen. So she made it through all those years, all those decades. Ain't nobody put a gun at her face. Ain't nobody try to kill her. But she met the one guy that was psycho and had to be her husband. And it should have been somebody who protected her. You understand? So I'm trying to teach you the ironicity of it. This is not something to play with. And don't just assume, oh, I'm going to do what I want. Ain't no man going to tell me, oh, if he's insecure, F him. Oh, I'm going to do what I want. Ah, ha, ha. Because you may not have the last laugh. Or if you do get the last laugh, like the person go to jail or get executed or something, or get the death sentence, but you still ain't gonna be allowed to see it. You might see it in the spirit, but you're gonna be one dead female if you get a psycho. So all these things you gotta remember before you just say, bam. Let's have some wild ass Scorpio 8th house down and dirty. Mars, Venus, Aries energy, moon. Didn't even talk about the moon yet. Sex. All right, but before we talk about the moon and Scorpio, let's talk about Scorpio, ruler of the 8th house, and Pluto, because Pluto rules Scorpio. But your Pluto is in your Libra, so that's good too. I think that's a good sign. That might be one of your purposes here. I don't know. See, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying be careful. All right. So we got to do it. Mars is Scorpio is definitely about sex, secrets, mystery, and you got to remember what I'm saying, because that's why people really, when you don't talk to them, that's when they get paranoid. Why don't she tell me that? You know, she is in a car, and when she got in the car, the speedometer was at whatever. 4,000 miles, 950. And then when she got in the car, it was at 5,000 miles, 75. Normally, it's not that many miles, so where did she go? And she's not telling me where she went. So, that causes problems too. Not saying you got to tell somebody everywhere you at, but I'm just saying. Now, so Scorpio secretive, sexual. Can be mysterious. Kind of like changing, so it's hard to really understand them. So they're emotional because they're a watery sign. Ruled by Pluto in the 8th house. So the 8th house is about debt, D-E-B-T, debt, like you owe somebody money, finances, other people's resources, other people's property, shared resources, the soul matters, soul reincarnation, birth, life, death, rebirth or regeneration, death and resurrection. Like I said, sexual stuff, really animalistical stuff, animalistic sex, primordial stuff, lower frequency stuff. It can be like alternative science, alternative medicine, holistic healing. The underworld, like Halloween, creepy coolies, ghosts, UFOs, spaceships, the occult, hidden knowledge, secret knowledge, forbidden knowledge, metaphysical knowledge, enemies, carnal desires, which can include like drugs, alcohol, things like that. And you got to be real careful of that, like drugs and alcohol and addictions. And Scorpio can be very, very psychic, especially when you got the moon. Because the moon used to rule Pisces, but now the moon rules Cancer, the family. So you got psychic, intuition, extrasensory perceptive gifts. So you do have that in your first house as well. That's why if you notice a lot of time like prostitution and like psychics go together. A lot of people may not notice that. Even like witches or gypsies, they be like highly sexual people. But that's all coming out the 8th house. So now we know your 8th house, your first house. At least we know what your 8th house is in because of Scorpio. But we still have to do your 8th house because, of course, see, even your 8th house is twins, the Gemini. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So your man is a very lucky man because you were here because of like really, really deep connections with him. So he's a very lucky man. All right. Now we have to do the moon in Scorpio. The moon deals with your subconscious. Now, like I said, these houses up front, it'll take a while to get through them, but then after that, we'll start to move through your chart. See, like I said, when somebody really listens to the reading, let's just say they did have a situation. Now they know, okay, well, I will try to see it. They're talking more. Because sometimes that's really what it's about. They just don't talk, and people start coming to the person just starts to feel insecure, and you're feeling like, well, you shouldn't feel insecure. That's not my problem. But it is kind of like not your problem, but you should help them. Like, you don't have to turn it into a war. That's what I be trying to tell females. Like, I put the blame where it belongs. Sometimes it's the man's fault, but sometimes it's just the female, because you don't have to turn everything into a war. Sometimes it's just a matter of you letting the guy know, whatever. Because I think what people they don't realize, especially like when you're living with somebody, you moved in or whatever, nobody's going to be moving in and all that if they just going to turn around and be arguing and break up. The fact that they're arguing and break up is because they're immature. They don't know how to talk and get through shit. And that's why, cause it's just stupid to go through all that trouble to move in with somebody if you want, always, I didn't know you were like this, or you're better, I don't want to be with you, or whatever. Because it'd be like, that's why you communicate and get through it. Compromise, commitment, and what's the third C? Compromise, commitment. I forgot. It might come back to me. I'm gonna have to write that down on a piece of paper so I don't be forgetting. Alright. Moon in Scorpio, that's from Australia. Moon in Scorpio. Alright, I ask Uriel. Uriel, help me. Compromise, commitment. What's the third one? Because Uriel, he'll bring it back to mind. So I'm asking Archangel Uriel to help me. Again, I'm just looking at some stuff. Just give me a second. All right, give me a second. I'm just opening up some websites. There was actually a movie, 1987 movie called Moon and Scorpio. Because that is all about reincarnation, just so you know. The moon deals with lunar reincarnation or moon reincarnation. All right, this is Molly Hall from thoughtco.com. Moon and Scorpio are intimate with the shadowland of the psyche. This familiarity with that of what's hidden is a gift, but sometimes it feels like a burden. Scorpio moons have a hyper awareness of what's not being said and what makes them masters of subtext. It's nigh impossible to trick them, and they are surprisingly realistic for being so passionate. Many are secretive and are wary of getting too close, especially if they've been burned in love. Oh, compromise, commitment, and communication. That's the 3 C's. Thank you, Uriel, the Archangel that helps you with your memory, like studying for tests and stuff. It's often said that Scorpio moons go through epic ordeals in love that become a matter of life and death. This happened to my brother, a Scorpio moon, when a betrayal shattered his life and took him to the brink of madness and back. Oh yeah, the 8th house where Scorpio rules, with Pluto rules Scorpio. It's about a power or power struggle. Like I said, obsession, power struggle. See, that's what I'm saying. That shit scared the hell out of me. So, it took me years to get where I'm at. I'm like a real laid back dude. I'm not really trying to be all crazy and shit. But there was a time when I wasn't so nice. But that's what's going to happen. That's why you talking about her brother almost went crazy and shit. Like, come on, bro. It's and y'all don't be hearing me. Y'all get mad when I say it. But y'all be flipping out. It's like 7 billion people on the planet. Why do y'all go so fucking crazy? I mean, chill out. Let the universe in. That's why I be doing your natal charts the way I do it. Let the universe in. And sometimes it don't have to be. You don't have to meet somebody and right away y'all hugging and fucking and kissing and all kind of crazy shit. Because that's why your shit fall. What did I just say? Communication, compromise, and commitment. Sometimes slow it down a little bit. You'd be surprised. The sex might just get better. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that animalistic, I just met you, I'm going to tear that up. That's all wonderful. But sometimes if I really see that you really mean something to me, like I could actually talk to you and shit, that's going to help. Me personally, I'd rather have that more than just some great sex. The great sex going to come and go. Or it might, like I said, make you do something crazy. Because she might whip it on you and you think it's one way. And you feel like, but she's in somebody else's face. You know what I'm saying? She ain't nothing but a flirt. And you might not even be like a bad person. You might just like be talking like they said. But it just look like if you break somebody off proper and you don't communicate, they don't know. And if they see you up in somebody else's face, they're going to be there. I think she a hoe. She is all over. But you might not be that man. You might have broke him off because you really like him and want to be with him. But he still see you with somebody else, but he don't know because you ain't talking. And that's why I said my last situation with my twin, I didn't even know what a twin flame was when it first happened. But that's why I had nothing to do with her. Because she was just too quiet. And then she tried to fake it. She tried to fake it and act like she didn't speak English. When I knew she spoke perfect English. Like I said, this girl got game and all that. So whatever it was, I was like, nah. I said, man, I'm not going back. I done been on this planet long enough. I done had my heart broke over and over again. I done been there. I'm not going back. And I don't regret that decision, that decision at all. All right. She said it's this capacity for profound psychic upheaval that keeps Scorpio from diving into the deep end. But these ordeals seem part of the story of the Scorpio. Also, as part of the scenario of being rocked to the core, Scorpio is Pluto ruled and deals with risk, regeneration, and cracking open what's repressed or buried. And that's what Pluto do. Pluto gonna shake you up. Pluto gonna rock, like she said, rock you to the core. The ordeals and everyday dramas are seeds that when take root in the garden of the psyche. So if you got Pluto with your Libra, that might be why it's there. But see, Uranus will also rock you to the core. So we're gonna wait till we get there because we don't want to assume. Because Uranus will just come out of nowhere and rock you, and Pluto can rock you as well. Love, sickness, and digestion. Astrologer Kevin Burke notes that the moon is in its detriment in Scorpio. That means it's tough to respond moon with Scorpio intensity in everyday life. It frightens people, and Scorpio moons instinctively know that and bottle up their feelings. Kevin Burke writes, if a Scorpio moon is not able to express their feelings, the emotional blocks will manifest in their physical bodies, and they will get physically ill, most frequently in the form of stomach discomfort, because the moon rules the stomach. So like I said, if a person is taking notes, you can write that down. So yeah, that's why we have natal charts, because they help us. But sometimes people just say, oh, it's too hard. I don't want to change. It's just the way I am. But sometimes when you get that on your natal chart, you can realize communication goals or what you're going to communicate about, stuff like that. This is a water moon, making you ultra sensitive to the moods around you. You digest all the vibes, good and bad. Scorpio moons are especially vulnerable to dark atmospheres, toxic, heavy, stagnant, spiritually degraded. Because that people don't like to admit it, but that eighth house can be kind of like a dark house. Not always, but it can be. And also in your eighth house, you can get managers, agents, investigators, people who know how to use other people's money, or people who benefit from other people's money. You need to purge ill feelings on a periodical basis. Over time, you learn to trust your strong instincts about situations and people. You need emotional catalysts to keep your own spring from getting murky. They said that a Scorpio moon person will try to act cool and under control, but below the surface there's a brooding intensity. With an emotional base in the signs of the extremes, they experience intense feelings which they often fear to let out. This in turn makes even intimate friends and family reluctant to probe too deeply. The secretive Scorpio moon can sometimes end up lost in all that churning emotion. If they are not aware, they could end up being driven by the subterranean force in the end. Along the highs of the light side, they can fully dwell in the dark and struggle with jealousy, thoughts of revenge, and serious resentment. Their nature is conundrum. Expressing their feelings makes them too powerful to contain. Over time, they'll learn that letting them out is the only way to tame the beast within. Yeah, because a Scorpio can be, they can doubt the person. They can doubt the person, accuse the person. They can be critical of the person. But if the person goes through all of that, then when they start to believe in a person, they can become real loyal to that person. They're in a position to understand the full emotional spectrum of the human condition and would make excellent dramatists or criminal detectives or investigators. They'll excel in any field where perpetrating insight into psychological streams is required. And the focus ambition of the moon in Scorpio adds to their chance for success. Look to the moon in the houses for your emotionally charged life sphere. In work and romance, they'll need many outlets for that reservoir of emotional intensity. Here it goes. It can take years to win the trust of suspicious Scorpio moon, and even then, there may be a fortress of defenses. So that's why I be saying, hell no. Not just on Scorpio moons, but all that mystery and all that bullshit. I don't need that shit. I got a bad heart, y'all. I got to think differently now. All right. But you got to be careful because you can't go around. Let's just look at the thing so far. You can't go around accusing somebody of stuff that maybe they didn't do, and then you're the flirt because you already got this guy wondering. I'm just saying this as an example, just something to think. I'm not saying that for this person, but if he meets you and you're highly sexual, and then but you don't trust him, you understand? But then he might catch you because this is how our world works. Murphy's law is in full effect. See, I almost choked to death just saying Murphy's law. Murphy's law is in full effect. So you already know it might be a situation where you just playing around with a guy. It might be a guy you work with, and just this one day, you're kind of close to his desk, and you two are laughing, and you kind of play hit him, and just as you play hit him, your man just happens to walk in and pick you up or something. So to him, it looked like, oh, y'all always like that. You see what I'm saying? Now here she is always accusing me of shit I didn't do. She won't open up to me. But yet she all up on his desk. And then that grade set. See, you give a man grade set, because I remember a female told me that. She said, if we don't fuck y'all, y'all say we stuck up. If we fuck y'all, you say we hoes and shit. So you broke this dude. I'm not saying your life. I'm using this as an example for everybody that's listening. So you break that dude off with some great sex, and then the other stuff is like making him, confusing him. And there's always gonna be something. Like I said, dude might come in and he got some hair on his shirt, and the woman automatically she see that shit. He didn't even know it was there. This dude been to work and back, and now his girl or his wife is throwing a fit. Like, what's that hair on your shirt? Nah, 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 blah, 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 blah. And that's the world we live in, because the same day you come home late might be the same day you got that or whatever on your shirt. So to her, oh, you came home late, you was with somebody. I know you was with somebody because you got this on the shirt. Blah, 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 blah. And the two don't got nothing to do with each other, except maybe some evil spirit setting you up. But people don't think like that. So that's why I be saying I move the way I move at the end of the day. But what I'm saying is you gotta be mindful of that. And I'm gonna tell y'all again, communication, commitment, compromise. Because if you're doing anything that's outside of them three things I just said, you might have some problems. But keep in mind, on the chart, this seems to be her theme on her chart. It's definitely relationship connected. And we got to get into the past life stuff as well. So that's why I said, it's like some people, you can't treat them a certain way because they ain't going to respond. But if you treat them a different way, they do respond. So everybody's different. She keeps using the word Catharist, which is getting on my nerves because I didn't feel like looking it up, but now I got to because she didn't use it a second time. That Molly Hall is something else. All right, so they said because you got a moon in Scorpio, your sexuality can be felt even with other people. They, like other people, can sense your sexuality because of your moon in Scorpio. Even if you ain't trying, even if you ain't trying. Catharist. Purification and cleansing. An act of releasing a strong emotion such as pity or fear. Alright, I'm gonna look this one. I didn't want to, but really, Catherine, the way she's using it is just strong emotion. But let me see what this place is talking about. Oh, come on, man. They don't even. All right, here we go. A purification and purgation that brings about spiritual renewal or release from tension. So yeah, you got to remember this is about us death and birth and like living again, resurrection, renewal, regeneration. So what I'm saying, as much as I can try to give you technical, I can give you technical advice and technical reasons. The universe might have some other plans because you can kind of see that in the chart. That's what I'm trying to say. She says sometimes primal desires can eclipse all other emotional truths and lead them into dangerous situations. Those in committed relationships have a chance to experience the deep sensuality in an atmosphere of trust. But you got to work on trust, communication, compromise, and commitment. So you can't be secretive and not want to talk about this. But then again, I kind of understand it because that's how you feel. And it's your zodiac sign. And you're saying, well, maybe if he made me feel more a certain way, I would tell him more stuff, but he doesn't make me feel that way. So it's hard, bro. So they are giving warnings. So I was right. I was right at warning. But if you look on the chart, it does seem to be serving a purpose. Because everywhere where there's a relationship sign, Libra, Gemini in the 8th house, that's Scorpio and Pluto. Pluto and Libra. So there seems to be a reason why they're having all this intense sex and intensity of Scorpio energy and Pluto energy, which is about transformation and change. So, keywords of a moon Scorpio: ambitious, intuitive, imaginative, intense, sensual, capable, and I'm going to add psychic. The shadow side of the moon Scorpio: secretive, controlling, vengeful, brooding, manipulative, resentful. And I think finally we're able to move on to your second. No, but no, we're not. Because you got some other stuff there. Give me a second. Oh, you got asteroids there. Okay, the asteroid Keras is just a nurturer. You even got Juno there. All right. Oh, and you got Mercury retrograde. Because I was about... Well, let me just shut up. No, yo shit is throwing me off, man. I wasn't expecting all this. Not in the very first hour. All right. Juno at 23, and that number resonates with Sirius. Oh, you got Lilith. Where's Lilith at? Ah, give me a second. I think you do. Wow, you got like hey, notice. Yeah, you got all three of these asteroids in your first house. Now, when you see Lilith, especially when she's, and you notice that she's at 22, and that's a twin flame. When you see Lilith direct, sometimes Lilith direct is saying, as long as you treat me right, you're going to get this great sex. I'm going to take you to heights you could never possibly imagine ever in your life. But if you cross me, you're going to see a hell that you could never, ever, ever, ever forget. I'm going to destroy you. So, and you got Mercury there. That's what was taking me off, was that Mercury retrograde. So we're not going to do Lilith yet, because Lilith ain't no joke. That's somebody you don't play with. We're going to do Juno, because we're trying to keep a little positive. But your first house is like a roller coaster ride. And it's rocky. Not all, some spots is nice and smooth, but some of the spots is not only fast, you going upside down, you going real fast, and it's bumpy. So we just gonna look real fast at Juno and Scorpio. And I don't know if we're gonna find it that way, but the best person to do Juno and Scorpio to me is Dark Pixie. But I don't know if they're gonna come up or not. And Juno points out the type of person, the type of relationship that you would get into a relationship with. Terry Nassan says that Juno is the asteroid of soulmates. But it doesn't necessarily be a soulmate, it could be a marriage partner or just a kind of serious relationship. Okay, this is Bob Mark Astrologer. I really want to go to Bob Mark Astrologer, but let's go to theastrologer.com, Juno and Scorpio, intense love and grand passion. So this is definitely a serious relationship in the first house. So she definitely wants one. This is theastrologer.com. Her name is Kelly Fox. You need a long-term lover who sweeps you off your feet and makes you feel grand passions, and who makes the earth move in the bedroom. You're strongly attracted to intense types who keep you guessing with their secretive, mysterious ways. So that's kind of fair, because y'all understand each other. Because if he knows how to talk, because if you be all secretive and then you try to run up on him, he'd be like, yo, you do the same thing. like how the heck you gonna try to start some shit and you do the same thing? As long as he know how to talk. So she needs a bad boy. Now I'm not saying because Scorpio is like the bad boy, but I'm not saying he got to be an all out thug or whatever. But she needs one. She needs like a bad boy, because he got to know how to talk shit. Because she's gonna be a trip. Like this woman, it's not fully her fault. Your first house is like, wow. But she means well. See, that's a good one. See, like me, I don't mind a stalking broad, as long as she's real. Like, don't stalk me. Don't stalk me if you ain't shit. Most of the females That be coming after me. If I show them any attention, then they not interested. They only interested in me because I ain't showing them no attention. Soon as they get attention, it's all whatever. But they'll flip on you. Like they be wanting you to play that game or hard to get and all that shit. I be, look, I'm busy. I don't have time for that shit. And because of the little preference of yours, you could have a somewhat difficult time of it once you do find that love of your life and make a long-term commitment. So it says because you need someone who keeps you guessing, secretive, and mysterious. But because of this little preference of yours, you could have somewhat difficult time of it once you do find that the love of your life, that love of your life, and make a long-term commitment. She just said it. She said, after all, intense, secretive types are usually a handful. But if you're up for it, the challenge, she said, but if anyone's up for the challenge, you are. Besides, you can be rather intense yourself, so you need someone who can serve up more of the same. Which that makes sense, but that's why they put Juno there. So the universe really helped you. The universe really helped you because they're saying that the type of person you'll find will be able to deal with your first house because that first house is a roller coaster. I mean, it's bad enough. Then you got the nerve to have Mercury retrograde. That's when I said that. I said, whoa, that ain't that's not the house. Cause she already gonna be secretive and shit. Now she like Mercury retrograde is like you really ain't gonna be trying to communicate. Ain't nowhere in hell. Ain't no way in hell I'd be in no relationship like that. You seek it. I mean, the sex is good. Like, I don't know how to handle this shit. The sex is good, but you ain't talking. But funny, that's how my twin was. That's why I ain't fuck with my twin. Because she was a freak, but she was too quiet. And I just know for a fact, the way I was raised with gangsters and thugs. If you get a chick like that, that she's a freak, but she ain't talking, that means she fucking. You ain't never gonna know. And she's good with the manipulation and shit. So she might be fucking broads and shit. I'm sorry I had to go gully on y'all, but we gotta keep it 100. On this channel, we try to keep this 100. So I was like, I'm getting too old for that shit. I'm not trying to chase no broad around. And then, because I didn't chase her, I didn't fall for it, then she flipped again, and she went along to destroy me and shit. Very manipulative, very vindictive, lying and shit. My twin was a trip, boy. It says otherwise it just wouldn't be fair. She's saying it wouldn't be fair if like you was doing all that stuff and if you get somebody that's not like you, it wouldn't be fair to that person. She said that. You can be possessive of your lovers and sometimes even manipulative if you feel you're not getting the attention and connection that you need. A deep soul-to-soul bond is what you're all about in love. Well, that's what the universe is trying to give you. And you rarely do anything halfway. The experience of loving someone, especially loving them for the long haul, is an all-encompassing thing for you. In fact, your life may be consumed for long periods by your love life affairs. It's funny, she don't even know about your house. She don't even know about Scorpio. All she know about is, she know about Juno. Okay, so that's why she's saying that. Okay. In fact, your life may be consumed for long periods by your love affairs. One thing is certain, your deepest love relationship will have the power to transform your life. And that's what I'm seeing about your chart, all this Pluto and all this 8th house activity in Scorpio. It's a sexual transformation. Great transformation through sex. But also, Juno means somewhat of a commitment or whatever. So you're being trained, ideally by your soulmate, your soul twin, through sex. All kind of ways. The ultimate male versus female, Mars versus Venus. But now we going in. I gotta put my shield on. We dealing with Lilith and Scorpio. All right. Give me a second because I'm bouncing around a few spots. All right. All right. So this person is like writing a freaking book. So we're gonna leave her. There are some astrologers that believe Lilith is a co-ruler of Scorpio along with Pluto. Because just by the way my twin acted, I knew she had a lot of Lilith, and she was Aries, very aggressive, ready to start a war. She wanted to duke everything out. And so that's what they're talking about, because Aries used to be ruled by Mars. Well, Mars used to rule Scorpio, now Mars rules Aries. But it can be a war energy, that's all I can say. Very aggressive energy. There were some astrologers who believe that Lilith is the co-ruler of Scorpio along with Pluto. When placed here, she is powerfully sexual, hypnotic, seductive, and wise. Yeah, because mine would try to hypnotize you with the eyes and shit, trying to put all that shit on me. When under a negative influence, she can become bitter, vengeful, or obsessed. Then they give the same article that I just seen. All right, let's read this. Because that's the article. I just looked at it, but it was longer than this one. But we're going to read this. So listen up, because I'm going to go kind of quick. Everything here is a question of to be or not to be. Everything is a life or death struggle. And nobody can understand these people when they say that love is not love if it does not hurt. If there is no jealousy, pain, abandonment, and comeback. If there is not even hatred and the darkness of frenzied passion, and unsuitable desires, or that violent need for attention, looks, givings, owning, the eroticism of these people is morbid, for only in the face of rejection and the end that wounds the pride is their bitterness created, and their hatred, love, and passion awakened. Only when they are left and deceived, when treachery suppresses fact, they move from fanatical love to opposite extreme, thus beginning to hate with the same intensity, if not even greater, the person that hurt them and that they are ready to, only the previous day, give everything for. They plan their vengeance. They even feel a type of disgust. Psychologically, Lilith position in Scorpio and the domicile is closer to woman. Sometimes a woman with Lilith and Scorpio uses rituals and rites, magic, and the like in order to hurt or gain the absolute attention of the person they are attracted to. If, however, the person who has Lilith position here is not of an aggressive or violent temperament, then she herself can be the victim of someone else's rage. Then it is she and her love are in danger from others in this case, and humiliation and insults. Especially women with Lilith and Scorpio have a problem of sexually open up to men to give themselves up to enjoy sex, which is their thoughts 24 hours a day. As a compromise, they strive to draw attention to themselves, emphasizing the sex appeal by provocative clothing, uninhibited behaviors. And she really went in. She didn't really say this, but she was getting to it. She was saying these type of people. She didn't say. She said it a different way, but also it seemed like she was saying these type of people may actually have to destroy their relationship. Let me say that again. They have to be destroyed by their relationship before they can actually really want to work in the relationship. Because I've seen that with a lot of women. And I'm going to get back to what I mean. Because she said something else, but I just forget what she said. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, a lot of people do that. A lot of people are turned toward. There's nowhere in the world like I said, we just live in a crazy world. Because right now, if I open up a store and I said apples, apples, and on the window it said apples, and you came in the store and said I'll get 5 apples, and I go, we don't sell apples in here. What are you talking about? You're bothering me. But yet it has signs. So if you're dressing sexy, there's a reason when you're dressing sexy. It doesn't mean you want somebody to run up in you and try to have sex with you, but you are making a point. So that's why she said that. She said a lot of these people think about sex 24 hours a day, and that's why they basically are dressing sexy and stuff. So she said it. I'm sure that was a woman that said it. So don't blame the guys, ladies. It was a woman that said it. Yeah, so, but there are some people who are like that. I mean, you know, they're not going to be happy in a relationship till, like, you really... That's why I say, like, how a female is attracted to a bad boy. Even if you're a good dude and she don't like you, like you're doing roses and poetry, and you're actually shooting yourself in the foot, because that's not making her attracted to you. That's making her look at you like you're weak or, you know, needy or begging or whatever. But if you were to just a wet wig out on her and tell her ass off and really set her ass straight, now all of a sudden she wants to be with you. Because I keep telling you, so many females I did that too, and just now they want to be with you. But when I was trying to be with you, you didn't want to be with me. The moment I said, you know, I'm sorry, that's fuck you, blah, 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 now you want to be with me. So she just said that with the Scorpio and Lilith. That's why I was trying to make that clear. And again, what does that mean? I know it's hard, but sometimes try to take control of your emotions. Because if you do have a guy trying to do the right thing, why wait till he cusses your ass out? Now he's frustrated with you. Now he really doesn't want to be with you. Now his respect for you has fallen because he's looking at you like, damn, she's so immature. But that's a female thing. Like I said, the reality is we're different. Men are just different from women. And this is something that what people don't understand because they want what they want. Like I said, I'll go out of my way a lot of times to let people know I'm not interested. But that only makes them want me more. And it's like, man, why don't you just leave? And you can't get mean because now he's mean. He's antisocial. But you can't win. And I don't, like I said, I'm not on the mentality I was 30 or so years ago. You understand? But a lot of people are still on that mentality. So it's a mind game. And some people don't want to play a mind game. But at the same time, men and women are just different. And not every woman is like that either, but that's one of the problems. So what the universe did for her is obviously the universe set these two people up to be able to deal with everything I'm talking about. Because the person she's going to find herself in a serious relationship with is going to be a lot like her. And that's important in this case. Now I was looking for this yesterday. Oh, this isn't past life, so I'm still gonna say this because I was looking for this website yesterday and couldn't find it. So I'm gonna save it right now. But that's why I said, like, sometimes you just have to trust the universe, because the universe knows what it's doing. And sometimes, like with twin flame, if you're in twin flame separation, realize that's part of the stages. It was gonna go in separation no matter what you did, and everything has a time and whatever. If it's meant to be, who could stop it? So sometimes you just gotta let the universe handle it. See, they said it again. See, now this is a different channel. This is Esotericpro.com. Astroesoteric.com. And Esoteric is an 8th house Scorpio Esoteric. Listen to what they say. Lilith and Scorpio. This person tries to compel others to satisfy her exacerbated desires by bringing the emotional climate to its breaking point before the peaceful solution. Simply never seems to interest her because of peace. And that's how my sister was. My younger sister, she was down south, met a nice country boy, and he was poetry and trying to love and poetry, and she destroyed him. Like, she destroyed him, beat him down, and then he still hung around, and then he started doing the same thing to her that she was doing to him.
But then that's when she got his attention. And then they finally got past that. And they finally got, because they also were supposed to get married. Now, y'all ladies ain't going to like this, but he was going to get married first. And then he canceled the wedding. And then that fucked her up too. But they would be at war. See, but my family crazy. So I'm not blaming him because I just know how my family is. And but they be at war. They be at war with him sometime. It's a love-hate relationship. But that's why I said, I'm just telling you how it is. But in this world, a lot of this shit is like this. Like, it's not going to be meet somebody and hold their hand and you're gonna compromise and commit to each other and whatever else I said. I said the 3 C's. I keep forgetting. Help me again, Uriel. Compromise, communication, commitment. Thank you, Uriel. It's not always gonna be that way. So sometimes you just gotta get down and dirty. I'm not talking in a bad way. In any way. What I'm talking about, you just gotta go through the bullshit that you hate. Like, why is this so crazy? But that's how crazy this planet is. So sometimes you gotta ask yourself, are you really ready for it? And that's what my twin wanted me to give her that unconditional shit. But I had did that so many times before and never really got nothing back. So I was like, fuck it. Fuck that unconditional shit. Hell, stay over, leave me alone. Can't you see I'm not interested? Just leave me alone. But I didn't know she was my twin. So that's what they're trying to say. Like with Lilith and Scorpio, that war is essential. And it's so far from what a relationship was supposed to be. You want me to love you, but you're cheating on me. But you still want me to hang in and like, what the fuck is wrong with you and shit? And the only way he got her attention was to do the same thing to her that she was doing to him. Because he was nothing like that. And it's sad, but you see that transformation. Like you see one person that changes something. And I'm like, wait, like where I come from, like nobody's changing me but me. Like that whole ideal of trusting somebody so much that you'll actually change who you are to connect with this person. I think it's crazy. It's bizarre. But it's twin soul. It's twin flame. So it's shit. But see, I don't know. I see a different picture. Like I'm not going to just do something. Like I'm a rebel by nature because I had to be, because I had a lot of violent people around me when I was young. So I had to fight my way out of stuff. So I'm just more of a rebel. But that's like alchemy, where a nice guy goes to a female and she rejects him, disrespects him, cheats on him, embarrasses him in front of other people. And then that causes him to change to the point now he'll do the same thing to her that she did to him, and now they're together. It says that Lilith in Scorpio has an unconscious tendency to manipulate others just for pleasure, using her strength and power. She has a penchant for thrills, a penchant, for excess when judging other people's character, and for making scenes. She shows sensuality in her instincts, an attraction for magic and the occult, and the weakness for vices. She can act as a cunning manipulator, nasty and terrible. Now we're going to give you the lower energy and then the higher energy. Lilith in Scorpio embodies the most obscene vibes, maintains connections with the underworld, and is connected to dark energies. It said dark egregores. EGRECORES. And that's what I was just saying in one of my videos. Let me check on it because it's uploading now. I was talking about the negative energies around people and stuff. It says 17 more minutes. So I like when I be studying shit and they be saying exactly what I'm saying. She causes suffering to other people and is extremely cruel. This is the karma of a rapist, sadist, criminal, sexual maniac, the head of the mafia, or a person who committed suicide. I gotta say something real funny. A lot of y'all might not know that Prince never liked Michael Jackson. Prince and Michael Jackson never got along. Prince used to bully Michael Jackson. And one time they was at a nightclub or something. And something happened with Prince and Michael Jackson. So Michael was with his sister. I think it was Latoya. Yeah, it was Latoya. And when him and Latoya came out the club, Prince tried to run him over with his car. Now you know Prince had a sick sense of humor. So I don't know if he really tried to run him over, but he tried to make them think he was gonna run him over. Well, he was crazy. And then one time Michael Jackson was with this other writer, the Black Eyed Peas or something. One of those guys, I think. So they said we're gonna this is before the other event. Or it might have been the same night. I really don't know. But anyway, this is before he got into it with Prince. But the guy said, "What do you want to do, Mike? Where do you want to go?" And he said, "Mike, Prince is performing. Let's go see him." And Mike was like, "All right, cool," because they didn't have no beef at the time. So when they came in the nightclub, Prince didn't introduce neither one of them. And you know, so it was like, how come he wouldn't introduce Michael Jackson? So while Prince was doing his performance, he played the bass, so he put the bass on, the electric bass, the bass guitar, and he went where Michael was standing because Michael had a front seat. He stood right up in front of Mike's from the stage, though he wasn't really in Michael's face, but from the stage he was. So he stood from that position and started plucking the bass and everything in Michael's face, like this, making a statement and shit. So the dude said when he got back to Michael's house, Michael sat there, looked at him and said, "Hold up," because I'm laughing. He said, "Why was Prince plucking the bass in my face?" He was like, "Why was Prince plucking the bass in my face?" The dude said Michael was real mad. And then Quincy Jones said Prince used to call Michael like Carmella and shit. Carmella and shit. So Mike did an interview, and they asked Mike about Prince. And Mike said, "I really don't like to talk about Prince, and I won't be working with Prince, because Prince has a mean streak. He's been really mean to my family. He's made threats to my family. People like him commit suicide." I was dying laughing when he said that. He was like, "People like him commit suicide." I was like, "Mike, what you saying? What you saying, Mike? Sound like you trying to get an alibi, Mike. You got all that money. I know you ain't gonna have this man killed, Mike. People like him commit suicide." It says in a previous life, this person succumbed to all vices, hatred, and took revenge on everyone, granting herself complete license. She might have been a black magician, consciously using cosmic law for dark purposes. In the current incarnation, the person is dominated by her instinct, absorbed every vice in all sorts of society, and is attracted to drinking binges. So watch that alcohol, debauchery, and various sexual perversions. Watch that weed. Watch all that stuff. She may, for example, have a strong penchant for sadomasochism. Damn, she like to get strapped. Uh-oh. I think you found the winner, buddy. All right, now that was the lower vibrations. Now they have an intermediate vibration, a level, and a higher one. So let's do the intermediate, and we're going to do this one kind of fast. Life presents itself to this person in its most scrumptious aspects. She can receive hatred and suffer vengeance from others, and is surrounded by weak creatures, blackmailers who harass her secretly and for a long time, or by insane and crazy people. In her latest incarnation, a person must have committed a crime or succumbed to the dark side of her nature. In this life, she can be the victim of violence, of a murder, of the black eye, or of the evil eye. But then it said black magic. And it's funny, I was just talking about Black Eyed Peas. Or can fall under the influence of the mafia. A fatal passion or love in general can endanger her. She is haunted by the fear of death, a fear of sexual predators, and by suicidal thoughts. For women, this is most reflected by the fear of getting raped. The danger for that person comes from criminals, thieves, and rapists. This is a risk of drowning and being exposed to explosions, and she particularly should avoid working as a sapper, S-A-P-P-E-R. The person should firmly resist all temptations and remember that all her misfortunes are deserved. Wow. Okay, now I'm going to interject, but just give me a second. See, what I be trying to tell you, you can't be rushing through no natal chart, bro. Even if it's an 8-hour natal chart. But I got to be careful because like normally it was working. I was doing 8-hour stuff, and it was working at first, but then last time it wouldn't take it. And I did an 8 hour, I couldn't even use it. I had to do it over, but I could only do like 2 hours. Cause I wasn't gonna take 8 more hours, so I got to be real careful. Got to like maybe if I do it, make 2 videos. But this is serious. All right, what I would try to tell you, see, this is what I'm saying. It's not that I'm being mean. People think I'm being mean, but I didn't write this shit. Like I'm trying to tell you, like she was a friend of mine, got her fucking head blown off. You know? And it's sad. It's sad. She got her head blown off, bro. And they didn't do shit. And basically there was a message that I wasn't gonna say because if I say it, then I'm the bad guy. But you just read what she just said. This is nothing to play with. This is past life karma because you see the retrogrades and a lot. But that doesn't mean, don't think, like, life is what you make it. So if you sit there and go, oh, past life, my life is over, that's what's going to happen. But you got to learn how to be a fighter. That's why I try to teach people to be a fighter. Me personally, if you feel like you can't talk to people, or if you and your twin or whoever, if you don't have nobody you can really talk to, take it to YouTube like I did. Because everybody knows if it wasn't for YouTube, I'd be in the crazy house. Because I can be a little bit crazy. So take it to YouTube. And if you don't want to just stay whatever. Stay, what is that word? What's that group called? Anonymous. Stay anonymous. But get it out of your system. Because if you hold it in, if it's really that severe, I'm not saying it is, but that was the first thing I started talking about. You got to understand, I know how I talk. I'm very informal, but I'm very intuitive. I'm like the drunken kung fu master and shit. I can kick your ass and I'm half drunk and shit. Like, I know my shit. So what I'm trying to say is, I was saying it from the beginning, and you see more people agreeing. So you got to be real careful. Because people make a mistake talking about a relationship. You should think about your life first. Because like me, I applaud my brother-in-law because I could have went through the shit he went through. But I guess if it's really real love, you'll do it. Or if you really don't want to be lonely, you'll do it. But once I saw how crazy this shit was, I was like, fuck that shit, nigga. Like, I'm not going through this shit over and over again. Like, I remember I started working at this job in 98, and there was this female that worked there. And me and her was pretty good friends. But by 2000 and whatever it was, 2001, 2002 or 3, it was a snowstorm. So I came out after work, and I was doing my car, shoveling, and she was standing there, just standing there. And I could care less. I was just doing my car and shit. Boom, boom, boom. And I shoveled my car, got it all out. And I got ready to get in the car. She said, Gary. I said, what? She said, what about me? I said, what about you? She said, do my car. She said, do my car. I just looked at her and said, she was like the old Gary would have did my car. I was like, well, things change and shit. Then I went over there and did it, but I wasn't happy and shit. Now, we're going to do the superior level. I guess high vibrations of Lilith and Scorpio. At this level, the person easily discerns the dark side of things, the hidden channels through which evil is spread. In past times, she came in contact with the essence of evil. She led the fight against the dark forces on her own ground and overcame many temptations, now battling the demonic origins hidden in their inner nature of man. Now keep in mind, let's just be honest. Don't think I went looking for this website. I did the same thing I do to every website. I put in Moon and Scorpio or Lilith and Scorpio, and then I just go whatever came up. Now this came up. So don't blame me. The universe is talking. The inner nature of man, she attracts the cosmic energies and becomes a direct participant of global planetary processes. At this level, the person has the ability to arrange words and to captivate an audience, or she possesses the gift of inspiring others to great achievement with the mere strength of a gesture. All right. Finally, Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. That's Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. And it definitely has to be that. Okay, this one talking about. Oh, no, never mind. Basically, I guess I'll do it. Give me a minute. We're going to do a couple of things because Mercury's kind of important. We're going to do Mercury retrograde, just what that means. But we also have to do a past life. So this is going to take a second. Okay, this is Dark Astrology, Mercury retrograde. And because of everything we've been talking about, I think that is apropos to use that website because that's what it's been talking about. All right. It says Mercury retrograde. Mercury did just go retrograde, just so you know. You see how the universe works? Watch this shit. Watch what I'm about to read to y'all. This is crazy. The Mercury retrograde in August travels from 11 degrees Virgo back to 28 degrees Leo. Now, you got to understand this is some Egyptian shit. Because the original Sphinx had a virgin for the head and a lion for the body. Because that's the divine mother. And also Leo is like the son of man, the lion of Judah. So this is some spiritual stuff. It's Mother Mary and her son, mommy and baby Jesus. And then next month, Virgo, everything lines up with Virgo. So something is going on in the universe with you. Now listen to what this says though. The retrograde lasts from August 13th. What's today? August 13th. Isn't this the first retrograde we did it so far on your chart? So how is the first retrograde on your chart? The same planet that's going retrograde right now, today. It's probably retrograde now. So somebody's talking to you about Mercury retrograde. So I think you better listen up. The retrograde lasts from August. Let me see what time it is on this thing. The retrograde lasts from August 13th until September 5th. And what a Lena line theme we have. Mercury's retrograde path travels from the tail of Leo the lion, all the way to its very heart. Oh. Fixed star Regulus is one of the so-called royal stars that lie at the heart of the constellation in Leo. There is no escaping the regal lion this year. Don't forget I'm a Leo. As the Mercury retrograde activates the eclipse's degree, 28 degree of the lion. So definitely 28 is the reincarnation number. Osiris, again, we're talking about Egypt. Osiris died at 28, but he died at 28 so he could reincarnate to something else. This is extremely significant, and Mercury will actually station direct on Regulus too. So for me, that would be, again, matters of my heart, but it's also going to deal with past communications. And these communications can be in real life, or it can be subconscious, or while I'm dreaming. It can even be telepathy. This is rather like giving the lions back a good scratch. Will the Mercury retrograde put the lions back up or make it purr like a kitten? Let's see. Oh, isn't it so cute?
Dark astrology. So they didn't really explain what a Mercury retrograde means. All right, this person's going way too technical. Come on, man. I am still going to read it, though. I don't know why. Come on, man. All right. Okay, we may be using ThoughtCo. Yep, because I don't see nothing else. We're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. ThoughtCo for Mercury retrograde. Then they got something else over here about Mercury retrograde. I think it's Scorpio. I forget. We'll look at it when we get there. Come on, ThoughtCo, where you at? What the heck? And then we're gonna do Mercury retrograde for the past life. ThoughtCo may be Molly again. Is it you, Molly? Yes, it is Molly Hall. Okay, Molly, we need an article. We don't want you giving us dates. We don't want to know what a Mercury retrograde is. Okay, let me find a cafe astrology because I'm trying to find, if I can, I want to find one place that's going to explain the Mercury, what it is, I mean, even, let's say this person knows, but it's other people listening, maybe they don't know. Every time I do this, I want to do it in such a way that somebody's going to benefit. Because you'll have some people that request it, and then they'll be like, fuck that shit. Or they'll be like, I don't like the way he's talking. I don't like his tone. You know, and I'm like, well, fuck you. I'm independent, bitch. I don't like your act. I don't like. No, I'm just joking. Can I have a little fun? You gotta learn how to laugh at this shit. Because you can go crazy worrying about the dark side and all that. That's why David said, yea, though I walk through the shadow, the darkness of death, I shall fear no evil, because thou art with me. You gotta learn how to see the light in the darkness. So don't be afraid of the retrogrades. Say it with me. Don't be afraid of the retrogrades. Hit it. Don't be afraid of the net. Okay? Come on. I'm sorry. Sometimes you got to get a little energy up. Okay, Mercury retrograde. Just give me a second. Because they just keep fucking with me. Like they're giving me two. It's the same website. What's the difference? Okay? All I'm asking you for is Mercury. If you ever hear a bam bam, it'll probably be like that guy in the office, me destroying the freaking computer. All right. Here we go. Mercury retrograde. See, they keep telling you when it's retrograde and all that. All right, this is cafe astrology. Mercury is a planet of communication. Mercury retrograde tends to breed a certain level of confusion. Mercury rules our lower mind, how we perceive and interpret information that we receive from our environment. So you may have some communication situation going on with your first house. And how we relay that information to others. Mercury has rulership over such things as speaking. So these are areas that you can have difficulty in because of the retrograde. Speaking, but also understanding, negotiating, buying, selling, listening, formal contracts, documents, travel, the mail and shopping and so forth. Also, anything that has to do with communications, but even like your automobile can start having troubles around a Mercury retrograde. Decision making is challenged during Mercury retrograde. Now it says it's advisable not to sign contracts, engage in important decision making, or launch new businesses during a Mercury retrograde. They can cause delays.
Okay, a person can be careless with money or personal information or paperwork can be costly. So this person might have trouble in these areas because, again, her Mercury is retrograde. It just hit 3:12 p.m. Now that is Chicago. Because before I was like collected 3:23 on his natal chart. And I was like, that's LA. So a retrograde always makes you go inward and rethink previous opinions or ideas. So look into the houses and signs. It may help you reconsider what you're trying to think about. You know, we're definitely going to get your answer for Mercury retrograde. Use a Mercury use a Mercury retrograde to reorganize, reflect, and this can cause very important revelations. And they saying that, you know, you won't be able to rationalize everything, but she's saying not everything needs to be rationalized. Mercury retrograde can be periods and times of heightened inner awareness. If you have meditation, you might want to keep a journal, reworking old plans, reviewing past work are favored. Mercury retrograde is powerful for studies, particularly in returning to old studies and relearning and refreshing knowledge. That's why I said if you really understand this, it is taking notes. It is patience. Just like I said, people think this is bubblegum shit. You think you're going to understand. Well, some people don't even want to get the natal chart. They want some psychic to tell them or some stupid shit. Like that lady really wanted me to clear. How can I clear your karma? How can I clear your karma? Then should I stay with my husband or not? Wait a minute. Wait, I don't even know your husband. How could I possibly tell you whether to stay with your husband or not? Did you do like I told you to? Did you slow down? Stop being so impatient? Did you get a pen and paper? Did you go over the information? Did you start to set goals based on what the teachings were saying? That's how you're going to come to conclusions on what to do. Plus, you might find out a lot of stuff about yourself because a lot of people think their shit don't stink. All of our shit stinks. So before I'm going to leave this because they did this. We need to look at ourselves too. See, let's do it the correct way if we're going to do it. This is not bubblegum astrology. You can't just come here, LLL, ah ha ha, read my palm, ah ha ha. This is not bubblegum horoscope, bubblegum astrology. This is real life. So they minor breaks or minor malfunctions in mechanical aspects of communication can actually reconnect us to other means of communication. That's what I'm saying. Like if you sit home all the time and you're on your computer and stuff, and then Mercury retrograde shuts you down, you might say, fuck it, I'm bored. And you might go out, and then you might go out and meet somebody and shit. So such as when there is an unexpected power outage and we're forced off the computer. Not mine, I have a battery. Ah ha ha, I'm a true nerd, LOL. Finding different and often satisfying ways to entertain ourselves. It is important to note that there is absolutely no reason to suspend projects or anything of the sort during the Mercury retrograde cycle. It's not ideal time to start new ones or sign contracts simply because a change of mind is quite likely once Mercury turns direct. But it is time to do outside of the box thinking. But acting on our ideas may be best left for the Mercury direct period. Now they're saying that some people who are born with Mercury retrograde in their charts, they don't feel the effects of Mercury retrograde. But that doesn't mean that others don't. This is some. When Mercury is retrograde in the natal chart itself, the thinking processes are generally more acute and the sense of humor rather quirky. So far, they use the word murky to describe what you're going through in the first house, and now they're using the word quirky. People with Mercury retrograde take in information differently than those with Mercury direct in their natal charts. How many people are born with the retrograde Mercury? Roughly 18%. Wow, you're in the 18% of people.
All right. Oh wow. All right. This says Mercury retrograde in the Aries ascendant, and that Aries are in. Well, it is Aries ascendant, so we're going to use it. All Mercury retrogrades cause particularly affect you in terms. All Mercury cycles particularly affect you in terms of communications in general and job or health related communications because Mercury rules these areas of your life and your solar chart. This can be a days of rethinking with these matters. You can benefit from doing important editing work on projects in progress. Extra care should be exercised when it comes to romance, children, creativity work, and daily routines. I'll take out the family because they said something about the fifth house. And the sixth house and the fifth are about family. I don't know why they're talking about the fifth house. So we'll take out children. Be as non judgmental as you can with others. So it is going to, I'm saying it's a Mercury retrograde. Well, it has to do with your past life, but it may make it even harder for you to make decisions because you've already got that based on everything else we saw in your first house. So they say get in the harmony, get in the habit of double checking everything you do because of the Mercury retrograde. Okay, Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. So this is going to affect you in terms of communication with friends or groups, as well as intimate communications and shared financial resources, because Mercury rules these areas. So they already said that you may have a problem with your money and other people's money. So that's going to be kind of funny. Hey, look, it's not my fault. You have to understand. I have a Scorpio ascendant, and it rules the eighth house, and that's about shared resources. And they're going to be like, yeah, I don't mind the sharing part. Why you spend all my money? Why don't you share yours? Oh, now I have a Mercury retrograde, and I don't understand what you're saying. It would be wise to be especially clear when it comes to financial transactions and personal communication with friends, or better yet, take the time to rebudget or rethink your plans instead of taking premature action. Group meetings may be postponed or canceled, and friends may seem distant or confused. So you gotta watch how you talk to people, especially your superiors or employers. Try to be as clear as possible so that you are not misunderstood when dealing with them. It's best to think and plan rather than acting with a Mercury retrograde. Only after clear thinking, maybe even checking out what you're thinking, then you could act. Be careful when you're communicating with authority figures, intimate partners, or others. All right. All right, now give me a second. Got a lot of browsers open. Now give me a second. This computer's running. Here we go. Now I'm just trying to find my file for past lives. Past lives, document. I don't know if this is what I'm looking for, but let's give it a shot. Come on, Mercury, Venus, Mars. Yeah, they do have Mercury, right? The Mercury retrograde is perhaps best known of all retrogrades. This celestial body requires 88 days to make a complete pass around the sun and remain stationary for anywhere between a few hours and a few days. Depending on the time of year this planet goes into retrograde. Okay, brother, we don't need all that. What we need is what it stands for in the natal chart. Mercury has the highest frequency of retrograde and stays in its position for the shortest length of time of any other planet. Communication and Mercury domain. Therefore, communications are greatly affected by this planet's pole. During the period Mercury has a retrograde motion, individuals may find a message is better conveyed through another less familiar medium. Messages may be misunderstood, whispers may be overheard, or email may be misdirected. Those who are usually constrained by public speaking may have moments of clarity, while those giving public address may be dramatically misquoted. This is a good time to explore new outlets of communication. Choose your words carefully. If Mercury retrograde is in your chart, your tongue is likely to get you into trouble, or you may be afraid to speak your mind for fear of consequences. There may be an issue with intellect or intelligence. You may find your self-expression is heard through other forms rather than written or verbal. That's all nice and lovely. But what we need is what it means past life. I just got to find that document, that file, because I do have it. All right. So let me try this one that says retrograde. Here it is. I got it. It's a PDF file and I got it. Mercury retrograde. A retrograde Mercury at birth denotes a person who has come into his incarnation with a knowing of some sort. It may be viewed as a gift of insight. So you're going to have like that psychic ability, intuition. It may be viewed as a gift of insight into any subject. They need to use their intuition in life to go with their gut instinct. They need to use their intuition in life and go with their gut instinct. Often they are labeled as slow thinkers or someone who cannot receive information quickly,
but they basically taken knowledge of this and discernment and discern it, decimate it differently. They have had a experience in their past life that are more helpful for them to a person with a direct Mercury at birth. Karmically, they have brought over in this life the instinct to know how to respond in the best manner for them. What they do in this life in the form of new communication or learning skills will be carried over into the next life. Then if Mercury is direct natally in that life, they will be able to express it in the unusual, unexpected manner. The house occupied by Mercury shows the area where you had this prior knowledge and your choice of environment where you wish it to play out in this life. So they're saying they're going to be in a no of the whole Scorpio, Aries energies. So finally, we're out of the first house. And I do believe that was the longest first house. That was the longest house I've ever been in, if I'm not mistaken. Now in your second house, Neptune and the Sun. That's it. Alright, just to let you know, Sagittarius, that rules your ninth house. That's about foreign matters, culture, class, religion, philosophy. So what we're going to do is do Sagittarius in the second house. Your second house is about finances and possessions ruled by Taurus. So we're just going to do Sagittarius. And then I gotta get ready and stop this particular tape or audio. And I might stop it if it's close to 3 hours, because I don't want to risk this not coming out. Okay, we got a little bit of time, so I'm gonna do this. Let's just see what astrology.ygo.com says. YGOI. Astrology.ygoi.com. And also, I gotta check on my thing that was uploading. It is uploaded, so I gotta handle that. I wish this thing hurry up. Come on, YGO. YGOI. Alrighty. And that's what you have, Sagittarius in the second house. And the way they wrote this is horrible. I'm not gonna read this. It's like if you handed that into like your teacher, they would throw that shit in garbage. Come on, white goy. All right. Okay, dark. Let's try dark pixie astrology. I like them, but sometimes they're too short. I mean, I know we've been out here for a long time, but I'm still, if we're gonna do it, at least get a good understanding. So hopefully they'll do it better, longer. All right. Your second house rules your disposable income, value, self-esteem, self-worth. The sign on the crust of planets within this house shows what profession you can make the most money in. They also show how you approach money and what your overall feelings about money are. They show how your values lean and what kind of ethical code you adhere to, your own feelings of self-worth and esteem, can be shown within this house, as well as the house is considered one of the career houses. This house is considered career houses along with the 6th and 10th. The second is ruled by Taurus, Venus, and has a southern house. Second house in Sagittarius. You have no problem giving your money away, having a generous attitude toward money, and you only want as much as you need to take care of the basics and help other people. You don't have a problem trying something risky to make more money, and if it doesn't work out, you dust yourself off and try again. You think long term when it comes to your finances, and this helps you to improve your finances. You can make money through something Sagittarius related, like travel, teaching, writing, speaking, expansion, or dealing with foreign cultures and people. Remember, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, which is money and expansion. Now you got, I believe you got, let me check it again. I think you got the sun in there too. Yes, you do. The sun in Sagittarius, or the second house. With your natal sun in the second house, security is important to you, and you have strong ties to your possessions. You need to learn that you need to learn that who you are is not what you own, and that no matter how much money you have, it doesn't make you a better person. Develop strong values and find your worth through your positive attributes. You're someone who can stick through anything and won't go anywhere no matter what happens. Everything lasts with you for a long time, and that's something to be proud of. You can build a strong foundation for your personality and life to be built on. And once you do, nothing can tear you down. You tend to be good with money, and this placement can be good for making money through being in the public eye or physical activity. Because I think Sagittarius, they're like athletics and stuff. They're a little bit like the 5th house ruled by Leo. All right. So that is your second house that I just read. The sun and what did they say? Did it say, who else did it say? Okay, we want to do Neptune now. Neptune, you have to be careful because Neptune is called the deceiver. It's very idealistic, but it also helps Pisces be spiritual, and then it is telepathy. But Sagittarius can deal with telepathy, so can Pisces, so can Leo, so can Uranus. And your 5th house, depending on what's there, if you got Pisces, and I think you do, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have Pisces in your 5th house, so that again, psychic, spirituality in the 5th house. All right. So you just have to be careful. So that's kind of implying you'll spend your money for like spiritual causes, but they're telling you don't be so idealistic that you lose money, because Sagittarius is kind of like that, and Neptune is going to make you very like somebody could come up and tell you something, you'll give them money and stuff. So you got to be very careful because you can't finance everybody. All right. So that is going to be your 1st house, your 2nd house. We're going to put this on pause, and I'll be back. All right, we're going to continue with the 3rd house. See, again, this is why you would need your natal chart, because so far, it just seems like associated with her life, this life, is really to be that 1st house. So let's just say she's in some type of religion or something, or whatever. Some people might try to give her counsel that's not appropriate for her life purpose, but they don't know. Because in this case, like I said, that stuff about the 3 C's, it probably wouldn't work. Because this is going to be kind of like erratic. It's a relationship where it's not based on that. Especially when you look at Juno. So by having your natal chart, you understand that. This ain't going to be a relationship where we're going to say, hey, let's talk and compromise. It ain't going to happen that way. It could still happen. But just like I said, with the person I was talking about, she broke that guy's heart over and over again. Then he started breaking her heart. Then they were supposed to get married. Then he called it off at first. But that's what it took for them to get where they're at. And then they've been married for a while now. And then he has some I'll just say chemical imbalance issues or whatever. But that caused her to stop being so dramatic, because she realized that maybe she was causing a lot of drama or whatever. But they got issues, but they still together. And ultimately, the marriage is happy. Anytime you can see two people that was married for years and years, like still dancing and they still flirting while they dancing and stuff, that's pretty good. So they still got that. They still got that fire and stuff. So the point is, nothing in life is gonna be perfect, but at the end you gotta really want it. That's all I was trying to say. Like a dude like me, if you've been through so much on this planet, that's the last thing you want to do. Plus you're blocking yourself in. Plus I got my own spiritual beliefs about, like, not just this life, but the life to come. So it's a lot of reasons why I would say, no. And unfortunately, it's drama no matter what you do. And it's not like you can sit somebody down and say, explain that to them, because they ain't trying to hear it. And it's a lot of stuff on this planet. But you gotta do what's best for your circumstances and what you learn through your experience, because this is your journey, nobody else's. All right. Now, your third house is run by Gemini. Gemini is all about communication, thought. Give me a second. I just want to make sure everything is fine. Give me 1 second. Communication, thought, short journeys, creativity, poetry, siblings, environment, multitasking, communications, and again, Gemini is the twins. So that's what your third house is about. And you have Capricorn. Capricorns tend to be serious. They tend to look good, smell good. So we'll just look at Capricorn in the third house. This will be dark pixie astrology, the dark pixie astrology. So if I used to just say dark pixie astrology, but it's the dark pixie astrology. But anyway, you can always use your search engine if you can't find it right away. Again, Capricorn in the third house. Third house in Capricorn. You don't like to express your thoughts or opinions with others until you've carefully reviewed what you're going to say and believe that it needs to be said. You try to only say what needs to be said and don't waste your time on anything else. If you don't have something productive to say, you won't say anything at all. You may seem quiet or secretive as a result. Learning or getting an education may have been difficult when young for some reason. As you get older, you take studying seriously and can use it to help you achieve your goals. Oh yeah, I forgot. All right, let me keep going. So I'm gonna stop this and make this into a second audio. All right. Oh, you got Jupiter in that house too. And where's your part of fortune? Give me a second. It looks like your part of fortune is in your second house. Look like. Let me see. Maybe not. But what part of fortune? It may be in your first house. It's real difficult to tell. Your part of fortune is that circle with the X. But all part of fortune really does is amplify the energy. So it may be in your first house. But it's real hard to tell. So you want to do Jupiter in Capricorn. And that is your sun sign, Capricorn. This is thought. I don't know. I might not use it because that's Molly. That's Molly. Let's see. This is my astrology charts. I'm just looking around. Jupiter, come on. All right. This is always astrology.com. Jupiter and Capricorn meets good fortune when they are ethical, mature, and act with integrity. They are organized and disciplined, and their step-by-step approach generally brings them good results. They are practical and need to visualize the end results to achieve them. Jupiter and Capricorn has a great optimism when they look at their life. They can be optimistic because they understand what works and what doesn't. They can create lasting impressions using principles that have stood the test of time. They have faith in hard work and being resourceful. They have a lot of endurance. They have high standards and a belief in tradition. Capricorn Jupiter does well in architect, planning, politics, finance, medicine, and the environment. They like to benefit society through their actions. They are above reproach due to their strong ethics. Their conservative attitude helps pave the way for their success in many instances. To attain more good fortune, they need to achieve balance. By letting themselves get too involved with material gain and fear of failure, good fortune can run right out of the door. So they're just saying you have to be careful. By letting themselves get too involved with material gain and fear of failure, good fortune can run right out the door. Jupiter in Capricorn has a strong drive for power, status, dignity, and importance. By working hard and through determination, they often find themselves at the pinnacle of industrial, commercial, or political success. They often gain wealth as a side effect, although Capricorn Jupiter may find
something tragic in being wealthy. They believe in being rewarded for their hard work, but wealth can corrupt the ethics. While they appear serious most of the time, they may have a dark sense of humor, and that takes you back to your first house. They have the talent to make the best of a difficult situation. Cautious and ambitious, Jupiter and Capricorn can make their personal philosophy match their ambition. They may tend to be miserly, so learning to be more generous can help them grow. But they may have put your Jupiter in Capricorn because your Jupiter in Capricorn because your second house, you're kind of giving it away, giving your finances away. All right, for me, I'm gonna stop this here for part. This will be part one for me. It'll sound like the same thing to you, but we're gonna do a new tape, a new audio. All right, your fourth house is about family, and you have Aquarius in the fourth house. So let's look at that Aquarius in the fourth house. All right, this is the darkpixieastrology.com. The fourth house rules your home, family, and foundation. It can rule your home itself structurally, the kind of home you like, and the place or area you like to live, as well as the environment within the home. The sign on the fourth house planet within the house shows your family environment as a child, as well as the one you create as an adult. The fourth house is on the axis of the 10th, the opposite house, and is called the Imum Coeli, or IC for short. Both houses rule your parents, with the fourth house ruling one parent and the 10th house ruling the other parent. This axis is also very spiritual axis, and the fourth house shows a spiritual foundation upon which you build. Cancer rules the fourth house, and the moon rules Cancer. And this house is an angular house. Okay, so the fourth house also rules like teenage education to college, land and property, family and ancestors, the heart, vehicles and travel. And like they said, your mother and your subconscious. Whoever played the mother raising you in the early years, that's your Imum Coeli. And some people are raised by like a male in the earlier years. But whoever that person will be, it's the Imum Coeli. Fourth house in Aquarius. You don't want a traditional home life. You may move often or change your home regularly in some way. Your home life may have been very stable when young and you had to deal with family strife. You likely don't have a strong emotional tie to your family or have a place you think of as home. Or you likely don't have a strong emotional tie to your family or have a place you think of as home. You became more innovative, original, and open as you get older and went an interesting life. So since you have Aquarius in your fourth house, that means you will look to the house Aquarius rules, because that's what you're treating as family. So you will look to your 11th house, which we will get to when we get there. Now, the fifth house is ruled by Leo. It's all about fun, travel, entertainment, taking risks, children, childbearing, romance, anything. Even some people say whatever people consider fun, getting away, going away. But with Pisces there, it means you have a spiritual element. Like whatever you do that's considered fun, you're gonna have some type of spiritual element to it. Even it's like if you see a Christian at the racetrack,
which I've done that. I've seen a Christian at the wage check. But they still, thank you, Jesus. Put 40 down. Across the board. Put 40 down across the board on Lucky Lou. Come on, Lucky Lou. Help him, Jesus. Come on, Lucky Lou. Come on, Lucky Lou. Hallelujah. Where's my money? But it was spiritual. They was having a good time. Now in the 6th house, you got some more drama. See how you got the Aries drama? Aries rules your 1st house, but Scorpio, and now it's in your 6th house is ruled by Virgo. So your 6th house is about healing, home, health, service, daily activities, daily duties, co-workers and or subordinates, and children and even animals. So you had some healing to do there. But Chiron retrograde means it's hard to heal. And it's probably past life. Now, how people do this? Because they say, come on, man. A person live a whole life. Seems like everything you talking about is relationship. That the only thing? And I say, well, bro, I can only tell you what I see. But when you ask specific questions, like I said, that's why you take the angel cards. Because let's just say you're a guitar player and you want some information on that. You would have to ask the angel cards. And then they'll point you to the houses and you'll get better information. All right? So I doubt if you're going to get a Chiron retrograde in Aries. I doubt it. I'll be able to find it, and that's hard to find. Chiron retrograde is real hard to find, but I might be able to find that. But I doubt very seriously somebody's going to say Chiron retrograde in Aries. All right. So let's see what they do give us, because we're going to do it different ways. Pathway to ascension. Oh, man. Let me do this. Give me a second. I'm just writing some of this stuff down.
one moment. I'm checking a couple of things out. Alright, Chiron retrograde. Let me see this. I'm gonna open all these up. Give me a moment. All right, this is the Dark Pixie Astrology. First, we're going to do Aries in the 6th house. You throw yourself into your work and are hardworking and dedicated. You are driven to work in life and try to do the absolute best you can. You can have a hard time with co-workers because you expect them to work as hard as you do. You need physical exercise to stay healthy. You may need to work for yourself with Aries here, or do work where you're mostly on your own. You can work in the military or in sports. Do we have anything else? Nope. This Aries. All right. So now we're going to learn a little bit more about Chiron. This man Chiron in and out of. Chiron is a wounded healer. He triggers us into feeling our deepest inner wound so that we can clear our inner pain. The path to self-mastery includes recognizing, deliberately bringing forth into conscious awareness, forgiving, releasing all inner pain. Chiron is our helper healer. Chiron helps you metamorph into something entirely new. This chirotic form of transmutation is so systemic, to change so complete, the experience so intense that most people forget it happened to them within hours. That's what happened with my brother-in-law. Often it can only be recognized by its effects, such as sudden new vision, a complete path, alteration in life, a feeling of being reborn. Chiron rules the most intense and mystical experiences. It rules spiritual ecstasy. All right, let's continue. Chiron in the 6th house creates a connection with medicine and healing. But now remember, your Chiron is retrograde, so you have to be real careful. So before I read that, let's read Chiron retrograde. And we just have to find it, because like I said, it's very difficult to find it online. And now some wise might find it and be like, it wasn't difficult, I found it. But we might not be talking about the same thing, bro. I'm talking about in relationship to the house and all that other stuff. But it's difficult to find. Just because you find a website talking about Chiron retrograde doesn't mean it have anything to do with this house we're talking about. All right. So let's just find it. Let's see if we got it. I probably already did this, but I'm gonna double check. When Chiron is retrograde, expressing this energy is more difficult. In my experience, I've found that those with the retrograde Chiron in their natal chart hold on to their hurts more readily than those who do not. So let's just take a look really quick. Where's Aries at on this chart? And Aries is with love. Oh, it's so cute. You got the female with Palace. And what house is that? 1, 2, 3. Third house, the Gemini house. See, because Gemini is the early stages of a twin flame relationship, when you guys are still not getting along, you're going into separating, you're still hurting each other. But Sagittarius is a more stable, when now you've gotten through a lot of stuff, and now you baby can stand in the same room, you can start to talk to each other, and you can start to be a little bit more honest with each other. So ironically, let me do it again. Ironically, in his 3rd house is Aries. So what happened? So it might have been him. I don't know. That's interesting. So I'm pretty sure his 3rd house affected you in your 6th house. I'm just trying to find who because you got Venus there, you got Saturn. And if you notice his Saturn, see, the 3rd house is ruled by Gemini. And in your 8th house, if you notice, Saturn and Gemini, and both of them houses with Aries and Saturn and Gemini got retrogrades on your side. So it definitely was him. But I'm not saying, I like that. Like, I like to know what the hell's going on. But something definitely happened and left you hurt. Regarding the Aries, 1st house, well, yeah, see, that's where it get funny. See, because the 1st house could be Capricorn, because you see that Saturn rules Capricorn, but that ain't his 1st house. His 1st house is EP, but your Aquarius is family. So even in, so basically, it's looking like you saw him as your family. Maybe you do in this life, but it's kind of looking like you saw him as your family, and something went wrong. And that's why I try to tell people, that's why you can't just go ascendant 1st house. You can't. You got to count it. That's why I be knowing what I be doing. That's why but on everything. Like, some people got gifts.
like, I'm not arrogant, but like, I'm smart enough to know if somebody's smarter than me. I shut the fuck up. But you have people to be really trying you, and then they be wondering why I be coming back. Like, I'm a really quiet dude. I be trying to, like, I grew up. I'm not a third dimensional nigga. Like, I believe you grow up. Like, there's a time to play, there's a time to grow up and shit. But people want to be 40 and 50 and up and still want to be acting like kids and shit. And like, nigga, you not gonna play that shit with me, nigga. I'm certified. Whatever you see me speaking about, I'm certified. I wouldn't speak it if I wasn't. I let somebody else speak it. But before, what was going wrong was all these phony ass frauds was talking, and the real people was not being heard. So that's why I move the way I move. Like a lot of fake rappers, they not hard, they not gangster. Every time you see them, they were like 10 niggas deep or more because they scared to death. Anybody you see with a lot of niggas, they really scared. Because I know niggas that go by themselves. And when I used to be out there, I was always by myself and shit. Ain't nobody put their hands on me. Thank God, but ain't nobody touch me. And I would be talking shit. You think I talk shit out here? I'll be talking shit on TV and then I still be hanging out in the streets. But ain't nobody touch me. They just be saying, yo, man, you crazy and shit. So a man want to grow up and be a man. He don't want to be 50, 60 and up, still acting like a little ass kid. But in this world, especially in this country, they dumb you down. So everybody want to act like they only like 13 or 17. So that's what the problem is. So we won't really know what it was yet. We may figure it out as we get through these charts. But something happened with the Aries energy that caused some situations. All right. I'm just trying to let the chart talk to me. All right, so let's just go back to this definition. All right, give me a second. Those with a retrograde Chiron in their natal chart hold on to their hurts more readily than those who do not. They are wounded more deeply, and forgetting represents a major challenge. They will have to make a special effort to understand that many times the hurts others inflict upon us are unintentional. They should give special effort to internalizing the thought. It's foolish to take offense when none is intended. If it was deliberate, they still need to work at getting past it or will affect their own progression. So they say since Chiron is a healer, focus on the healing aspect of the energy and not on your hurt. And they see these people start to hurt other people. They help other people because they're hurting, so they help other people, and that kind of helps heal them. But they say they can never fully heal from that wound. All right, so just give me a second because I'm gonna have to go through these websites. But anyway, this is Chiron direct, not retrograde. Chiron in the 6th house creates a connection with medicine and healing.
This connection can begin with you being hypochondriacal, evolve into an uncompromising effort to maintain good health, a search for the secret of good health. As you let go of the tight control of your health, you become sensitive to your body and to your electrical system. You intuitively know what is going on with your body and what it needs. Your work experience and your search for meaningful goals in life can be your healer as you learn to answer to what am I. Holistic health is also your healer. Chiron in the 6th house symbolizes the working out of transformation energy in forms of a karmic issue. If your Chiron is retrograde, you can activate past life healing skills to use this incarnation. You are meant to serve others. And the 6th house is the house of service. We develop our personality through houses 1 to 6, our soul from houses 6 to 12. You can use a growing intensity as we move through the houses. Each of your incarnations consists of movement through all 12 houses, and with the sole goal of developing ever more spiritual maturity. All right. All right, now we have Chiron. This looks like Chiron retrograde. So I'm gonna put this here. Give me a second. Come on, bro. All right, so here goes one. If Chiron is retrograde in your chart, you face issues of arrogance and greed. You may have overwhelming desire to exceed at any cost at the expense of others, looking for the easy way to reach easy street, even if it means making unscrupulous deals in the process. From a past life perspective, you were probably a person who lived in poverty or were destitute or both. Or you may have been expected to succeed, pressured in all turns, but failed in some manner, only to be blamed, disrespected, or ostracized from those you cared most about. Either of these situations possibly left you seeing the suffering of those you love, which left a very strong impression on your soul. These past incarnations have left you with a drive to succeed by any cost. To overcome these lessons, it's time to realize that success is not measured by financial wealth or position. Even the richest of people can be left alone and lonely, not knowing who to trust or what friendship to value based on merit or money. Be thankful for the little blessings in your life. Gratitude for a loving family and an abundance of friends is a true gift of success. All right, so we got a good idea about Chiron in the 6th house. All right. Sixth house. Yeah. Because I'm just trying to find out like what happened. 11 friends and associations. Got Aquarius. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You got Pluto. And that's the 12th house. Aries. Just right now, what it looks like, to be honest, just by me looking at the placements in a past life, it could even be in the present life. But in a past life, it appears you're always doing something like part of your mission, part of your service, and something went wrong. Yep, that's what it's starting to look like. And I hate to jump the gun, but I got to. Now, to the bottom of this, we would need one more thing. We would need the truth, which apparently, if you're hurt, you know about it. But whenever you see Juno retrograde, it means infidelity. And just looking around, and I'll try to show it to you, but just looking around, it seems like y'all was active in service, but that led to a third wheel or a third person that he might have been guilty of. And then that caused you a lot of hurt. Because your 6th house is upset. Well, 6th house is ruled by Virgo. And then his Virgo is in the 8th house. And that can, and even to go to vertex cross, and that can even mean another, like a, because you got twin souls. That's the same soul as you. Same soul, different body, twin souls. But then you got a soul mate. That's just part of your soul family. Really, anybody can be part of your soul mate, a soul family. But sometimes people get along better with their soulmate than they do with their twin. And that looks like that's what happened. Because look where his Juno is, retrograde. And then let's count it up to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 files of relationship. Then they go to vertex cross, which can mean a soul situation. And his vertex cross is so close to the 8th house, which is the soul house. And then you got Pluto and the retrogrades. But then you see how your Pluto and your Uranus are also dealing with the Libra relationship. And I think your Pluto is direct. His Pluto is retrograde. But my point is, it's a third wheel, the soulmate, and that's what you're having trouble healing from. Now, the 7th house is about relationships, partnerships. It could be about enemies, contracts, legal things. But you got Taurus. Taurus is also about money. It rules the second house of money and finances.
of money and transportation. Pluto can be strong, sensual, loves massages. And depending on what card deck you what card deck you're using and what your chart is saying, it can represent a spiritual, like a pope, some type of spiritual man, or I don't like to say women, but possibly. So that's your seventh house. The eighth house we already did. Well, that's Gemini, and then you got two retrogrades. See, you see the vertex cross. This is some weird shit. Your vertex cross. Oh, that's his Juno. No, I've seen that before. See, your vertex cross is your vertex cross is Cancer. His Juno is real close to Cancer, but it's in Leo. But then that's his vertex cross. Well, this is how soulmates be looking. Like I had my twin flame at my job, and this is how they come. This is why I said it's a universal thing. That's why the more you learn, the more you start to be alert to shit. It's just that it's hard to believe that the universe runs like this. It's like, who the fuck is fucking with me and shit? But it is. There's a true story I gotta tell you. I know there's a long ass video, but I couldn't even find no job, and I was trying to. A guy wouldn't let me work. I'm going driving crazy, trying to find work, and I literally took a fast. I took a fast for 7 days, and I took nothing but water, no food, just water. And I was asking God, let me work. Let me gotta work. This ain't cool. I gotta get a job. I gotta work. And so after a while, he finally came. And what he said to me was, because I was kind of worried, I was real worried. So he put his finger over his lip and said, "Be quiet," because he was always telling me to shut up back in the day. But that time he just said, "Be quiet." But there's been times when he told me to shut up, because I was a piece of work, especially back then. And he said, "Be quiet." Then he said, "Are all your needs being met?" I was like, "Yes." He said, "If all your needs are being met, then any deal I have with you or any contract I have with you is fulfilled." And then he just disappeared. And I was sitting there feeling real stupid. And I was wondering, well, should I stay on this fast or not? Because I'm real hungry. But I'm just showing you how much I wanted to work. But the only time he let me work was as soon as I get to my job, within a couple of months after there, is a twin flame situation. But on my way to the job, the first day of work, they put a thought in my head. When I say they, the universe. They said, remember so-and-so who used to always be in your car at that job you had in 2000, 2001? I said, yeah. And then as I looked up to the left on the highway, it was a female standing there look just like her. And stuff I'm telling you, you'll hear the same stuff on YouTube. So I was like, well, damn, that really look like her. What are they trying to tell me? So when I got to that job, as soon as I walked in, the first person there was this chick, this female that looked exactly like the chick from 2001. So this is how the soulmate stuff worked. So whenever I was having problems with my twin flame, this other female was always there and, seemed to be like the right person and all that. But found out her sign is a Capricorn, and on my seventh and eighth house is the sign of Capricorn, because seventh house is the house of relationship, And then 8th house is the house of the soul. So she could easily well have been a soulmate. She wasn't my twin soul, but she could have been a soulmate. And my twin was kind of jealous of me and her. So what I'm trying to say on your chart, you got some type of stuff going on with a Cancer, a Leo, but it's somebody probably, because the vertex cross can mean a significant event or a significant situation or a significant meeting or soulmate. But somehow in that meeting between, and I guess I keep telling you at work, because they're gonna medium coeli. So it just seems like there's a third world, even either service to others or at work, because I see that Leo. And that vertex cross, I mean, it's unique, but it can be the same person, because they might have affected him more with the Cancer energy, their Cancer energy, because that's where you see that at. But see, it is still Leo. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's still Leo. Well, it's Cancer Leo, but they might have affected him more with, those two energies, but it affected you more with your Cancer energy, because it might have been a family member. But it's definitely Juno retro, and it affected you. Because what house is that? It just really work out if it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, that's why I like investigation. See, it's a 6. I keep telling you it's a 6-house thing, because your 6th house is where this is. And you know it's a soulmate, because now Virgo, which rules the 6th house, is in the 8th house, which is the soul house. And where that vertex cross is, now that might be where it really is, but sometimes these charts be off by a little bit. So that vertex cross could really be right in the middle of the border of the 7th and 8th house. But even if it's not, it's still some type of soulmate situation that he seems to have gotten involved with, because there goes Juno retrograde, and that really hurts you. And whether that's this life or the other life, who knows? All right, let me just look at a couple of things. All right, I'm going to put this on pause. I'll be back. On this chart, you realize how powerful love is. She had an Aries situation that hurt her, and you see how she came back in this life with all those planets and asteroids and all that stuff in the first house ruled by Aries. Now, retrograde can mean past life, but it could still be this life. Sometimes things that happen in the last life or repeat itself in this life, but it could also mean this life. But we're just looking at the chart. But that's when it's hard to tell if it's a soulmate or a twin flame situation. But they just keep on tickling out your job. And even the 6th house is still, it can pertain to your job or daily activities, but usually it doesn't, but it can. But even where his vertex cross is, takes him right to the 10th house, the job sector. And even if he's the guy you met at your job, because early when I first got started, I said she may have met him at the job. Just some stuff I was seeing. Or some type of service. Because it just appears that this guy is kind of like family to her. And that's why even in the ninth house ruled by Sagittarius, you got that vertex cross. And then we said we had to look at your 11th house. And there goes Virgo, which can be home. And if I really told you what I'm really seeing, it doesn't have to it doesn't have to 100% be like this. It doesn't have to 100% be like this. But what I'm seeing is she met this dude possibly at her work or wherever any type of service or activity. We can give a little leeway in that. And then they had a certain situation going on. But then this is how it's going to get tricky. Somebody, which we will say, quote, family, was in the picture, which is also kind of close to home, became involved. Or I'm saying it wrong. So it would even be somebody associated with her that would be considered, quote, family, unquote, or quote, home, unhome. But those who he got into it with that person. But that person is definitely either a soulmate or a twin flame. But according to Juno, it's definitely adultery or, some type of infidelity. 6-9 is a family sign. And that's why this is where it gets hard. Because her vertex cross is Jupiter. Or her vertex is Cancer, which could mean him, which could mean a soul situation. His vertex cross is Leo, which could mean he met her in some type of work, job, or service. But then in that meeting, and it looks like it got kind of comfortable because it turned into a home situation. And why am I saying that? Because of the 6th house ruled by Virgo. So I don't know if it became a home situation or did, or through that situation, home or family, 6-9, it became some type of infidelity. Okay, let's do Gemini. Gemini in the 8th house.
This is sexual astrology. You're extremely curious about exploring the depths of intimacy and sex. You might enjoy as much as possible about erotic sexual pleasures such as tantric or more taboo sexual practices. All right. If Gemini is in your eighth house, then a relationship will always begin in your mind, and in order to fall in love and ever achieve deep, intimate, bonding sex, you must first achieve an intellectual communication with your partner. Well, see, both of y'all, Mercury is retrograde, and Mercury rules Gemini. It is all communication. Gemini in the eighth house can often strive by talking to a lover after physical sex. Gemini in the eighth house can often strive by talking to a lover after physical sex. Pillow talk is indeed the doorway to intimacy. After sexual talk, pillow talk is indeed the doorway to intimacy. Much more than the physical act of sex itself. You will enjoy talking while you have sex or might ask your partner to talk dirty to you during sex. If Gemini is in the eighth house, you might also find it natural to bond intimately with more than one sexual partner. So what might have happened? Because these two, according to the chart, are like. So it's not like they're gonna have no like maybe during sex they might be talking, but they're not really they're a lot alike. And we already explained all of that. See, this is all Aries first house and eighth house and stuff. And like that's what I'm trying to tell you. See, I just have a certain way of looking at life, but then at the end of the day, I'm just me. I can believe whatever I want, but I'm not God. So everybody does have a right to do what they want. But what it's starting to look like is they had a third wheel in the house, and see these two is playing games with each other because they almost alike. So they play games, but they have needs, but they kind of play games and they don't meet the needs. And then with the other person, it just went. It was naturally gonna happen. You can't. I be trying to tell people you got to be realistic. You ain't gonna have. You're not gonna have a man and a female and another female in the house, and stuff ain't gonna start happening with the man and the other female, or all three of them getting busy. It's just like that. And if you want to believe that, I also got a bridge to tell you. We just live in a world where everybody act dumb when they know what's going on and shit. Because they know in the world, she's going to be laying in that room listening to you bang out this female, and she ain't going to stop getting hot. And women just like attention. They don't want to see that shit. All you dudes out there, you lonely ass loser dudes, I can relate to you. Now listen, how many times women walk past you like you a stop sign, but then they see you with a female, and now they got to stop. Now they got to try to get your attention. Now they might be trying to give you some sex or give you some attention. Same ones ain't want to have shit to do with your ugly, broke ass, loser ass. Now all of a sudden, you get a girl, and now everybody, just like that Nick Cannon movie. So this is how the world really works. That's why I said, people be talking about, I want my natal chart. Oh, I want to know my life purpose. But you got to deal with reality. So I teach reality.
But here, more and more, it just looks like they just played too many games. It was a lot of, like I try to tell you, that's that Gemini energy is like really immature. And me personally, people don't like that I'm forceful as far as the way I speak. But I'd rather somebody forcibly help me realize you can't just play games with sex, and you can't just play games when not talking to your partner and shit, because you're setting yourself up. And people just be scheming. Like when Taylor Swift first came out, she had a smoking song because it's really like that. She kept saying she don't love you like I do or some shit. And the lyrics of that song, she was banging when she first came out. That was like a classic song. Like when I first grew up, that was like what we call new wave music. But she went on. She like, that girl ain't gonna take care of you like I do. She don't love you like I do and shit. And if a dude, like I said, you recognize shit. So that's why you don't play games. You don't play games with sex. You don't play games with communication, because all that's needed to make a relationship last. If you really want to relate, because otherwise you set yourself up. See, what everybody listening got to realize, all we are we're pieces of checkers on a board, or chess pieces on a board. And even the Bible tells you, you're like in the spirit's theater. They're just watching everything you do, and they always trying to interject. We just read something that we read about, talking about evil spirits and stuff. Something else we just read. All right. Now we got to find out who's in their fifth house. All right. Now let's do Pisces in the fifth house. If Pisces is a sign in the fifth house, then you'll approach love, sex, and dating in an emotional, imaginative, and enchanting way. You might have a difficult time seeing your lovers clearly, having a tendency to place anyone you're dating on a pedestal of perfection with full godlike status. If Pisces is in your fifth house, there's a yearning for deep soulmate connections, so your sexual relationships are likely to be more like transcendent than most. All right. If Pisces is in your fifth house, there's a yearning for deep soulmate connections, so your sexual relationships are likely to be more transcendent than most. You're able to surrender your body and soul completely during sex. If you have Pisces in your fifth house, you might date or fall in love with someone who is psychic or extremely artistic. You might also fall in love with someone who is out of touch with reality in some way. Someone you ultimately feel you need to save. All right. So give me a second. I'm going to try to check a couple of things out.
All right, give me a moment. I just have a list I'm trying to go through real quick. All right, so you have Saturn retrograde in that 8th house. Saturn retrograde is a sign that you are redoing a lifetime. This incarnation is your second chance. Thus, you will feel the burden of dealing with 2 lifetimes as once. You can therefore experience inner doubts about your self-worth and your ability to overcome difficulties. The good news is that your soul knows you have achieved the spiritual maturity required to redo successfully a lifetime. You have a prior lifetime's advance through great personal struggles and sacrifice. Now as you learn to flow with Saturn's